Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got our buddy Joey Mazzant here. How you doing, Joey?
Really good. Thanks for having me back.
We appreciate it, man. Especially when he comes in the door with gifts. A lot of our listeners, Jesus, a lot of our guests when they come to the studio, they bring us stuff.
I like
Crespo
that.
does
and he's
that.
wearing your merch. Look
Crespo
at that.
does that. Joey Mazzant does that. Who else does that? You know who doesn't do it? And it makes me hate him is John Bustecker. Doesn't do it.
He tries to bring us his book of 100 things to do in
But
Orlando.
nobody. The reason he brings
already
those
have one,
is
John.
the reason he brings us those is because he ordered too many of those. He was really he was thinking he mismanaged a bet. He had a bet in his own mind. He's like, you know what I think Floridians like? Books.
That was a first mistake.
That's your first mistake. Because you're a nerd, John, and because you're intelligent doesn't necessarily mean that everybody else around you wants to be that guy.
Yeah. Also, it's like, you know what else tells me what to do in Orlando or anywhere?
Don't say it. Don't say
the
it.
Internet. And it has up-to-dates, like literally today. Different thing.
Well, his version, to its credit, says that he did update it 2 years ago. So there are footnotes on there.
So it's only 2.5 years old.
Delineating when he went in and altered.
Yeah.
His book is like the slowest Wikipedia of what to do in Orlando.
Yeah. And then 5 years he'll alter that.
You know, this is why we don't have friends, too.
Yes.
This is why. And this is probably why he doesn't bring gifts. Hey, Joey's here, everybody.
It's funny you say that about books because one of the jokes that I tell the kids that I'm hanging out with is we talk about Harry Potter because we're at Universal Studios, and they go, I read all the Harry Potter books, and I go, no S, they made books out of those movies? And the kids get pissed at me.
Oh, I like that.
I thought it was, I'm like, that's funny. And they're like, they get mad. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know you took pride in reading. God.
That's a dad joke, Joey.
Well, a true dad joke would be to weave in some politicalness with JK's, transgender, where she lies on that. You sprinkle a little of that in there.
So
penis disapicero or something, like you say some like crazy chant.
It's the holiday season, and that means all the parks are holidayed out. When do they start that, by the way?
November 1st.
Bingo.
November.
The day after Halloween.
Yep.
They got the midnight crew that comes in at 11 p.m. that night, and you can't find pumpkins and Halloween anywhere in the park, and all of a sudden, bam, Christmas tree. Like,
that's pretty cool.
Do they do it all in one night?
They do inside of about 5 hours. It's pretty rad.
Well, that's crazy.
That's what kids say about Santa, too. Does he do it all in one night? You had the whimsy in your eyes for a split second. I saw a young Tom Van.
So what park is considered the most
Christmassy?
Christmassy out of all of them.
That is a solid question that I know Joey knows the answer to, but I'd like to kick it around first.
Please.
Sam, what say you? You're a Disney gal.
I would have said before it would have been Hollywood Studios because they had the Osbourne family lights and they would do the snow foam parties and stuff. But they don't do that anymore.
They don't do that
anymore. So now I would
anymore.
say Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I was going to go Magic Kingdom as well. What's the real answer, Joey?
It depends on what you're into. I
That's
think
true.
you nailed it because Magic Kingdom is almost synonymous. That's where the parade is. That's where they do the big tree, the 80-foot Christmas tree. It's all there. But let's not forget, Universal Studios has one thing that Disney doesn't. That's the Grinch. The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. It's not the Grinch Who Stole Valentine's Day. It's not the Grinch Who Stole Hanukkah. It's the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. It's in the title.
I wish the Grinch would steal Valentine's Day.
Yeah, right.
Totally be okay with that.
Take it. Give me Halloween.
The Grinch at Universal is great, too.
I never
He's really
thought.
funny.
Okay, I'm Joey. You know what? I'm glad that because we're Disney heavy on this show, and I think that for the most part, even Tom, we tip our hat and say Disney is the theme park. Universal is we've always been a little, but they do crush it. Grinch is so good. He's so funny, and if they get the right actor in there, like I know one in particular. I'm not going to tear down the third wall, but the dude. His improv and the way he riffs and his jokes are so good that it's worth going and visiting the Grinch just to be insulted. Just to have him like...
He roasts you.
Yeah, I loved it. When it happened, I was like, why haven't I ever done the Grinch before? This is so cool.
So, sorry, Joe, I got to talk to my business partner for a second.
Of course.
So, have you seen this particular video? And they don't make them that, it's not that popular.
Are you talking about a Squirt Game?
No, we didn't talk about that. Well, we'll talk about that later.
They got a Squid Game porno called
Did
Squirt
you see
Game.
it?
Yes,
Oh,
are you crazy? It's the first thing I did when you told me about it. Because first of all, I was mad that you brought it to my attention. I'm like, how am I
You're losing your edge.
I am losing my edge. How am I this far behind? And then I watched it. It's 4 parts. It's 4 parts. You got to find all 4 parts.
They do the cookie.
Yeah, I had to do X videos, XN, and then the other one I had to go to RedTube.
So I'm talking about
hard.
The parody, that they put money into, or they have makeup, and they have a Grinch one. Have you seen
porno?
That one? Yeah,
how did I know you were doing Grinch porno? I knew it. That's why I mentioned Squirt Game. We should start a company.
And it's like they have the prosthetics on, and the guy.
But are they good? Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's good prosthetics.
He's they
like,
put a couple thousand.
Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah.
Is she old enough now?
My one.
I don't know.
Yeah. And there's like a mom.
This
and
is
then
the
a
time
dad.
when I tell everyone, remind you that all the actresses and actors in this video are in their 30s and they're addicted to cocaine.
You didn't have to say that, Grinch. Also, you spend a lot of
at the beginning of every video.
Here's what I don't like about it. You spend all the money on the prosthetics and then like a real Christmas tree and the whole thing.
You got the swirly candy cans where every tree is like a baobab tree. You know, like a weird baobab.
The Grinch's makeup, his green paint that he put on.
He
his
paints
green
his
makeup.
thighs too, which is weird. Man. You're painting your thighs.
It comes off on Cindy Lou.
Yeah, it can't come off.
And then I'm like,
my Grinch is coming off.
Anyway, sorry, Joe. Back to holidays. So
Great segue.
The Magic Kingdom.
I met your wife, and now I'm embarrassed. I talked to you.
That was a private conversation. Nobody should have listened to. So
put it in your text messages next
time.
I can't stop.
So. Magic Kingdom. That's the most Christmassy. What about Epcot? I feel like
Epcot is my favorite park, my friend. I actually wrote our company's training manual for Epcot. It's the most boring park in the world until you're 21 years old, and then you want your GD ashes spread there. It's so much fun.
I like the aspect of different. I don't know if they're still doing this, but they did different holiday traditions from across the world. So when you're walking around, you know, there are interesting things still. It is a more adult park. Like, you can get some knowledge there, walk around, read about something, watch some lady playing a drum you never knew.
If your kids are into, like, being educated, it's actually good for kids. But most kids just want to ride rides, right?
Yeah.
So it's not for kids in that aspect.
It's kind of a bait and switch, I feel, for kids, because you're telling them that you're taking them to a theme park.
Right.
But Epcot
And
has,
then
like,
it's all
what,
learning.
4 rides? 5?
It's got 2 rides that people want to do.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
see,
got
Joey's blatantly honest. He's
Soarin'
going to tell
Test
you.
Track.
Some of the ones at Epcot, they're rides, but they ain't good rides.
The Mars ride nobody wants to do.
Now,
We call that the Vomitron
Yeah,
3000.
a surprisingly good ride that my daughter likes, it's hit or miss though because every kid's different, is living in the land.
Living with the Land.
Living with the Land.
Yeah, I love that one too.
Yeah,
But most kids don't.
I love that one.
They
Maisie
got the new
loves it.
Ratatouille ride though, and they're gonna have
Haven't
Guardians
been
of the
on that.
Galaxy soon.
Haven't
And
been on that.
I'll be blatantly honest with
Living
you,
on the Land. Tom would love Living on the Land. It's basically.
Oh, it's all plants.
No, it's his 2 loves. They put you in a boat, and then they just push you into a hydroponic
true.
garden. That's it. Just boats and hydroponics.
But if you want to take a step up from there, they do the behind the seeds tour, and they actually let you walk back there and touch everything and mess with things.
I would like to do that.
I'd take you, bro. It's cheap. I'll take you.
Didn't recently some drunk co-ed jumped off the boat and then tried to steal
a pumpkin that was shaped like a square because they grew it in a box or something?
A square pumpkin.
Don't steal my box pumpkin!
If you do that, you instantly get trespassed.
Banned for life.
and
I
banned for
hate
life.
that. There's nothing. I think it's so disrespectful, man. Like I don't know why that's a pet peeve for me. But like when you're at something and then you think you're like
Because people spend a lot of money to be there, so you're ruining other people's time.
Correct.
And you're acting like a jackass, and like it's people's family vacation that is a once in a lifetime. There's a lot of things that you're being a narcissist about. Like, I'm gonna steal.
So selfish. Yeah, because
this eggplant.
You're right. There are a lot of families that we don't even think. We live around here, right? And we never think about the Midwest family where the dad is literally working 3 jobs, saving his ass off to get the plane tickets and everything to come to this destination, right?
Yeah.
We don't think about that. I mean, we're over there, I'm going living on the land. I'm going to barf in the water.
Although,
come on.
Although on the other side of things, you got to see it and it became internet famous. So it's like at least you were there. I mean, it was that or vegetables.
I like your positivity. I like your positivity.
She didn't she acted like an idiot, ran out, steal the eggplant, run back.
Nobody does the things that they
pooping everywhere.
Nobody does the thing that everything's too extreme these days. Back back in the day, my dad would come back and he'd be like, "You'll never guess, we went to the wrestling match. Dusty Rhodes was about to slam Kevin Sullivan, and a lady pulled her boobies out." And I'd be like, as a kid, I'd be like, "What? A lady pulled her boobies out? Are you insane, Dad? That's crazy." He's like, "You couldn't have seen it. It was like this is obviously a private conversation. He would have texted this to me if he could have." But he didn't. And but like now though, it's like, did you hear? I was on Living Land and a lady got completely naked and then started throwing her tampons at people. Like it's always 100 steps too far. What happened to just the innocent? You know, they mooned him. A boobie fell out.
And then it becomes the Living with the Land challenge. And now it's on TikTok and everybody's doing it. And then it's like, oh, yeah.
Or like, hey, I took a picture with Tigger and he made a white power sign with his paw. I'm like, oh my God. Like, why can't we just have the boobies come out again? Like,
right.
Take me back.
So, Joey, what are some, like, I guess, Easter eggs, like holiday stuff that they offer at the parks that are not so popular? Like, everybody knows.
A selfless question, Tom Van, because I know you care so very little for that.
I was actually going to applaud you. That was really nice
right?
of you.
How nice is this guy?
Because you used to be able to walk. You said the holiday lights.
Osbourne.
Mm-hmm. Like, do they have any?
But it was Ozzy Osbourne. You walk real slow.
I thought that for the longest time because I heard they had Trans-Siberian Orchestra, so I was like, is Crazy Train going to start? This is awesome.
It'd be so much better if it did.
It smells like 1,000 pee-pee dogs in the streets.
What did I say about the pee-pee dog jokes lately? Oh, man, Caesar is bad, dude. Oh, my God. Every morning he greets us with a new pile of barf.
Also,
Poor thing.
Can anybody believe Ozzy Osbourne is still alive?
That's crazy.
No. And not only is he still alive, there are points in Ozzy's life where he looks like he's about to die. It's kind of like The Amazing Jonathan. Ozzy Osbourne 5 years ago looked like he was going to die. If you look at him now, he looks like he just came out of a youth chamber. I'm like, what happened to you?
Oh, he's doing some crazy European stem cell something.
Is there a chance that vampirism is real and he is in fact Nosferatu?
Possible.
I'm just going to throw that out there. Have you ever seen Ozzy and a vampire in the room at the same time?
No, I haven't. And he does those. He does all these. Like he's still working. He does that show with his son.
That's right.
Where they're doing like adventures, which is like your dream. And I feel like it would be very similar. Like you as Ozzy, and then Tommy and Max. You join forces.
Listen, I would love to do
I know you
adventures
would.
with my son.
I know you would.
But you have to know that they're all laughing at you. They're all going to laugh at you.
The sons, or you mean everyone?
No, Ozzy Osbourne. They're laughing. Like you're presenting. Yeah. Like are you even a good son? Because like I would argue that if my son's like got me on television by the time full CTE is kicked in, and then the whole world is laughing at how.
But I think he's better now, right? It's
he's not better. Like I mean, maybe he didn't
when was
change.
the Osbournes on TV? It's like 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the 90s. It was like
2002.
Yeah, early 2000s.
I mean, nearly 20 years ago.
Yes.
I mean, so like how?
And
he
was rough then. I remember watching.
Yeah, he can't get better.
I remember watching episodes of that. There's one in particular where he's like shuffling over to put something in the garbage disposal. I remember watching it. And I'm like, yeah, he'll be dead soon. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It was 20 years ago I did that.
I can't believe he's still alive. Anyway, so is there any Easter eggs, Joey?
It's all snacky snacks. It's all junk food.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. Disney knows where the markup is. The markup is food and alcohol. We talked about this last month. Disney has these desserts that you can only get now, and all they've done, I'm not trying to throw shade, I'm just being honest. It's a cookie, but instead of there being like a picture of Tigger on it, now it's a picture of a Christmas tree. But it's the unique Christmas dessert, 20% markup.
Gotcha.
Brilliant.
So
I'm okay with that. Yeah, because I know that one. Yeah, like I'm okay. And plus their food, especially the sweets, have a tendency to be really good.
Yep.
Like I've had some really nice treats.
The new big trending one is they call it the hot chocolate bomb.
Yes.
Where they take the casing of chocolate and they fill it with all kinds of good stuff and you put it in your hot chocolate and it melts and all the insides fall out and it's pretty cool. I got this from my nephew. He loves those.
Have you seen that? That's the new, it's almost like a bath bomb for hot milk. So it's like a chocolate ball, and then you warm milk in the microwave. Well, you should do it on the stove. If don't do it in the microwave. You're an animal if you do that. You do it on the stove, and then you pour the milk, and then you lay and then it gently melts, and it's almost like you watch it.
Okay,
I know that now. I would pay $500 for you to be in a Christmas sweater and have it professionally shot on like a digital SLR with Christmas music, kind of like the Kevin Spacey videos he was doing, where he's like when he was crazy and he was still stuffing the turkey and he's acting like the guy from what is it? House of Cards.
House of Cards, yeah.
Like, hello there. You caught me stuffing a turkey. Now, I know what you're thinking.
I'll do that, man.
I molest young boys. But, right? Isn't that that's kind of thing?
I know all the evidence points to that direction.
And I know what you want. You need me. You need me out there as an actor molesting boys. What? What are you talking about?
Small price to pay. All right, Spacey.
Is that a small price to pay for good entertainment or me acting like a Southern conservative president?
Bold
Whatever.
move,
He's
Spacey.
basically stealing my dad's act, right?
I like this. It's a small price to pay molestation to see me act.
He never said that. We're just making that
He
up.
insinuated it.
That being said, it was sponsored by Bill Cosby.
I would love to see you do that. I would love to see you put a chocolate bomb in your hot milk and you're sitting there, you got the tall neck sweater on like a turtleneck.
You guys are presenting me like a true curmudgeon,
You're a Grinch.
old Grinch that doesn't like nothing, and that's not true. I'm kind of indifferent, but I was like, oh, there it is. It's good. It's fine.
So if you and your wife and your two loving sons, Tommy and Max, all sat down, I can guess which person isn't going to say that the hot cocoa bomb is amazing. I can see your wife. I get, oh, hey, Tommy, Max, look at yours. I can already see him.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, yeah. And then Tommy's like, because he's a little more higher pitched. And you, just sitting there, mad at it.
No, I have
Mad at it.
they're selfish. They just care about their own
Well, of
hot
course,
milk.
they're 6 and 5.
They're like, what does Dad think? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have to think anything. I just like, all right.
That's your answer to them? They're like, what do you think, Dad? And you're like,
They don't even ask me. They don't care. They just want their own stuff. Anyway.
You got a killer poker face. You're just going to sit there and be like, it's good.
So, Joe, is there any, okay, let's say you're poor, right? And
Sure,
you
why
can't
not?
afford to get into the parks because they're too damn expensive. Like, to take your family to the parks, like, what is that? If you're a Florida resident, to take you, your wife, and 2 kids, what's a...
Just for tickets and parking?
That's about $600. Just for
okay.
tickets
No
and parking.
food and drink?
No, like
Or-
food, drinks
get
inside
outta
the
here.
park. What are we talking
You're
about?
between $800 and $1,000
Okay,
a day.
so $800, $1,000 for one day is probably a step too much for a lot of people, including myself. Like, if I spent that, I would be very mad.
That's
And-
a once in a lifetime thing, I think, for most people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like going to Europe.
Well-
I think you put it in the same category, and I know people are laughing at that.
I'd be mad at my sons
true.
for
But
not
it-
enjoying it enough because I know I'd predict they wouldn't enjoy it.
Isn't that part of the
enough.
problem, right? Like nowadays, man, I've never thought about that. You're bringing up something super interesting. If I didn't live in Orlando, like I think Maisie and even the boys, even though I know Maisie's been more, I think they can appreciate it more just because it's here. So there's almost like an appreciation for it just being in your town. Like, it's there. It's like, but I think if I went from the Midwest and flew here and I was the dad that saved up,
Oh, then you got plane
I
tickets
don't
and
know.
hotels.
I don't know if it
$5,000.
would, well, I don't know if it would be possible for my family to like it as much as, you know what I mean? I'm gonna do what you and I always do with our kids, where we're gonna set our expectations paramount, top of the heap, right? You're guaranteed to be let down, always, right? Because what you're setting is unattainable.
I would tell my sons if I live in the Midwest and we were looking at a Disney vacation, right? I'd be like, all right, it's $5,000. I would do the same thing
That's
if
a
I was
cheap one, I think,
the
too.
father of a
5K?
bride or whatever. I would give them the option, like, do you want to spend $10,000 or $20,000 in your wedding, or do you want me to just give you the cash or give you $5,000? I'll give you $15,000 cash and then, instead of spending all this money on the wedding, I'd present the same thing to my kids. I'd be like, do you want to spend $5,000 on going to Disney, or I'll give you $1,000 each cash and you could buy whatever, imagine how many toys you could buy for $1,000. It just, man, kids that can't do the math and understand that the $1,000 in toys is going to be way better than the $5,000 trip.
We had that conversation when I was a kid. I can remember being about 10 years old. Little sister 8, little brother 6. And my old man does this is the 90s, mind you, it was early 90s. I'll tell you what, we can go to Florida, we can go to Disney, or I can build you a tree house. And I was like, tree house. And they're like, we're going to go to Disney. I'm like, guys, listen. Trip to Disney or a treehouse. Treehouse forever. Treehouse is going to set us back. And I'm like doing the math. I'm writing it down on paper. I'm like, check this out. This is how much the treehouse costs. Let's talk to them, see if we can give us $100 each. I can go buy a Super Nintendo. You can buy what you want. I was like negotiating the deal on behalf of my brother and
I love
sister.
it.
And they're just like, we just want to go to Disney. I'm like, listen, you're not doing
Impulsive.
the
It's
math.
impulsive.
You're losing my mind.
Yeah. My mom and her sister, my mom, when they would get their allowance, which was very little, my mom would save her allowance, right? Because she would save up for things. But her sister, who's a lot like me, they'd give her the money. Instantly, she'd blow it on something. Instantly. It never saved anything. That's very much right. Like, digital plane. And so it's funny to see that. But yeah, man, I wish I had saved.
So back to being poor. So say you're poor, you can't afford the parks, but you want to give your kids a taste of what, like the Disney lights, you want to see some light up Mickey or something. Like, I imagine downtown Disney is the only place you can go, obviously parking, okay, you're shaking your head.
You got the right idea. You're not wrong. But what you do, I was going to ask you, how poor are we going? Are we talking like ramen noodles 4 times a week poor?
Well, let's go
disheveled and dirt on the face poor. Like,
that's too poor. You can't even drive there.
Let's go classic Dickens orphan poor.
All right.
Like, please, sir, these vehicles driving around we don't have horses. These are strange carriages.
Let's just say you want to spend $250 for the family instead of $800 or whatever. Like, you could like, okay, I can.
Cheapskate. What'd you lose at the track? What'd you lose at the track again, you deadbeat?
What you could do, the best thing, this is what I used to do back in the day. When I moved here 18, 19 years ago, you park at Disney Springs, downtown Disney Springs now, and you hop on the bus over to the Grand Floridian, and you take your nephews, nieces, kids, whoever it is, to go see all the cool gingerbread things that they make. They make that gorgeous gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian where they sell hot chocolate and gingerbread out of it. It's very Christmassy. The 80-foot tree is in there. Get your picture taken. That's literally free.
Also, Disney Springs has a trail of Christmas trees that are all different themed out, and that's all free too.
My only beef with that is I don't
Parking's
like crowds.
free.
I don't like crowds.
But only American Indians can walk the Trail of Trees. That's true. But they have to be fake Florida, like white trash Indians.
I love you guys.
I don't know why. I don't know why anybody loves us.
So does every particular park have some sort of holiday specific thing that they only roll out for holiday season?
Absolutely. Yes,
okay.
Sir. And the hotels are the same. All of the hotels, they all have those gorgeous 80-foot tall Christmas trees. At the boardwalk, they have the carousel made of gingerbread that you can go, and it's cool to see. And if you're just looking to walk and talk and take pictures, I recommend doing the boardwalk resort, because you got the boardwalk, the Swan Dolphin Yacht Beach, and over at the Grand Floridian, you got the Grand Floridian, the Polynesian, and the Contemporary. So there's cool little ways. If you're just looking to kill a couple hours with your kids and do something Christmas-ish, it's a great option, and it's literally free. It costs
Andrea
you nothing.
did it with May. She took her out there to see the big gingerbread house.
Yeah.
Super cool. And then they got to ride the monorail, I think, a little bit, and just kind of, mess around out there. But yeah, it's good.
And you can get a drink at each bar, at each location. So you get a bar, your kid gets a beer, your kid gets a hot chocolate. It's a cool afternoon.
Do they have any like Santas that come out, or is that too Christmas specific?
They got Black Santa now at Magic Kingdom.
They do. They do. And he's gorgeous. I don't know if you've seen that guy, but holy moly, I'm glad that not that Disney wouldn't big up it.
But he looks like George Clinton. Like, he's rad looking, dude. He's so
like
cool looking.
Really, I'm a big fan of a
Funkadelic Santa.
No, he's
not
just
that
a beautiful Santa.
Hip.
I like it when Santas don't, like, I hate a skinny Santa. I hate a fake beard redneck Santa. Hey, man, I'm Santa Claus. No, I don't like any of that. I just feel like we got too crazy with the Santa. When it was Santas everywhere, too many Santas. I feel like there should be like almost like you got to get certified. You got to look good. You got to do the voice. The guy that they had at Baldwin, he did I'm big on you got to do the whole thing. So if you're out there, you can't just be like, you can't look like a beautiful Santa Claus and then have a kid come up and you're like, hey, how you doing? You can't do that. You can't do that. This Santa, he was like, oh, thank you for allowing me to light the tree in Baldwin Park. He did like the whole thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's the way you're supposed to be.
Well, did you know that Santa always looked kind of like a homeless guy until Coca-Cola got their hands on him? He didn't have a red suit until like somewhere between the 38 and 52. They gave Santa the red suit.
And cleaned him up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like everything we see is now influenced by some marketing campaign. That we just, then we're like, that's what Santa looks like. So Coca-Cola made it up. It was like, oh, it ruins it, right? It was like,
well, then you get weird Santas, though. You get like weird Pope Santa where you get like extra religion. Then you got like a vagabond traveling, like Kung Fu Santa.
But you want to talk about changing the Santas back on the theme parks at Epcot? I guess they're not doing it this year. They used to have the Santa from each country. But what you got to remember is America's the only country that's super like protected and we're careful. Krampus They're like, oh, this is Krampus. He brings you presents. Like, Krampus used to snag kids in the middle of the night. You go to Italy, La Bufana. Like, oh, La Bufana brings presents to kids. No, she didn't. She used to kidnap children who were horrible.
Who's La Bufana?
The Italian Santa. The Italian female Santa.
There was more.
Hey, it's me, Italian Santa.
yeah. We've made our kids suffer. Like, the worst that could happen to you, lump of coal. It's like, that's
lump
the worst.
Of coal. Why did he even go to the trouble?
But if it's kidnapped and
He's
then
trying to teach me a lesson.
Boil you in a stew, like, that's way more scary. I feel like you would, be better if you could be boiled in a stew.
Yeah, right. Krampus is fairly new that everybody's like, we needed something edgier, right?
Yeah.
We're like, Santa's, this isn't edgy. We need an edgy character.
Yeah. Well, that's just us borrowing from what's been in Europe for, whatever many years.
I mean, Europe's filled with dark tales.
Yeah. So anything else that people should know about tips, tricks for the holidays at the parks?
As is tradition, get there early.
Yeah.
I always tell the families, you let me pick when we start the day, I'll let you pick when we end, because nothing good happens after 3 p.m. at a theme park. That's the big one. Of course, the marquee rides are a big deal. When you go to the park, if you have to purchase it separately to ride it, here's your idea. Just start there. And aside from that, if you're doing it for Christmas, it's a different world than if you're doing it for what we normally know. So if you're doing it for Christmas, you got to get there early to get your picture in front of the tree. If you want to meet Santa Claus at Epcot, he's in America. And that's, again, he did a great job. They gave him the thing, but it's socially distant Santa. So don't get your kids excited about sitting on his lap. It's still,
gotcha. Yeah.
So plan your day accordingly. And as always, reach out to me if you have any questions.
Perfect. Joey, thanks so much.
Yeah, man.
We want to end
Time
with
to gamble?
a parlay here.
Right.
Which let's talk a little bit about
he's
gambling.
warming up his phone over there.
Yep.
So in last night's Bills-Patriots game and that crazy wind, and this is just like gambling insider stuff, but the in-game betting, it presented a crazy anomaly that rarely happens, where because all the in-game betting that you do is like a computer algorithm does it, right?
Sure.
But the algorithm could not keep up with the fact that wind was blowing only in one direction. So literally, you could have a gigantic edge just betting in-game against the team that was playing against the wind because they couldn't do anything.
Right.
The wind was it was a gust of 50 miles an hour, so you couldn't kick a field goal, you couldn't pass into the wind. Now, if you were playing with the wind, then you could bet heavy on that team in game because they could pass, they could actually play football, and it was interesting that
were both quarterbacks having a time I didn't watch.
100%. And by the way, if the best argument for anything like, let's say, the NFL tweaking things to make what they want happen, if the New England Patriots and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play in the Super Bowl, I am going to be severely suspicious that some sort of tweaking isn't going on throughout the season, because that would be an insane entertainment.
It'd be the biggest one
Super Bowl.
Ever.
Yeah, Bill Belichick versus Tom Brady, but it is almost playing itself out as we watch it, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Bucks are playing now for what? Home in the playoffs.
Yeah. New England's
that's really all they got to button up.
Number one in their division.
Yep, New England's doing just fine after righting the ship.
And there's no way. I mean, the last night's game played well for New England, and
bad for my Bills fans. Were like, I didn't realize I had that many Bills fans in my life. Like, I just saw people coming out of the woodwork.
If there wasn't that extreme weather, I would say Bills win that game. But that extreme weather played right into Belichick's hand, and he lucked out by playing the Bills in a GD. Crazy sleet hurricane. It's crazy. Yeah. It's like, man, he got luck to play the Bills at that time. And anyway,
it's to the point where I take families on tour and they say they're from. Excuse me. When they say they're from Buffalo, normally if a family's like, "Oh, we're from Pittsburgh," I go, "Oh, you like the Steelers?" Oh, we're from California. Oh, you like the Raiders? When people are from Buffalo, I go, "Oh, I'm a big Goo Goo Dolls fan too."
Just switch it up. Yeah, no need.
Talk about the Bills.
So what do we got, Joey?
So what we got is, I'll spare you the mess last week. God, I had everything spelled out perfectly, man. I was supposed to turn $50 into $850, but I got greedy. I should have pulled out in the third quarter with the Steelers. But anyway, what I like this week is we got the Falcons versus the Panthers.
Okay.
Now, this is huge because the over and the under is 43.5.
Okay.
So I'm taking the under because the Falcons on Halloween, they played the Panthers 19-13. The Falcons have never won a game by more than 3 points, except for one game where they beat it by 7. Whereas the Panthers have a 48-point spread from win to loss ratio. What I like on this one is I'm taking the Falcons because I think they got this. Because right now you got two teams that are 5-7, and the spread is only 3 points. Yep. So you're basically like, what do I always tell you? If you give me a coin flip with odds, I'll take it for $1 million all damn day. So what I like is I'm taking the Falcons. I'm taking the under because both of these teams have been overpromising and underproducing. So the Falcons with the under 43.5. Throw like $100 on it, and then just in case it falters, I'm going to probably put $150 on the coin flip just so that I call tails never fails.
Now, just to be specific, is the Falcons money line in the under or Falcons
plus 110?
Okay.
Yep.
So Falcons money line and the under 43.5 same game parlay.
Yeah. I'm gonna it's not going to be a big hit, but I figure I'll throw $100 on it. I'll make $380 or something stupid like that. If I
like that. I'll bet on that. Joey, thanks so much for coming by.
Always a pleasure having you drop by.
Thank you so much.
We'll take a quick break and come back with more corporate time.
Welcome back to a corporate time. Let's do some voicemails.
All right, buddy. Here are the voicemails of the day.
Hello, Tom.
Oh God, I did it again. Hold on.
Background music to the voicemail.
Nora, I like to mix in some jazz. It makes things sound better.
Hello, Tom and Dan. So I'm a man in my late 30s, still in my 30s, and in March of next year, I'll still be in my 30s, so, shot fired. But I'm rewatching one of my childhood favorites, Home Alone. You may have seen this film. And I have come to realize that the little kid who comes up to the van and gets miscounted for Macaulay Culkin, that kid is like King Chirper, just coming in, hey, what are you guys doing? Where are you going? What a bee-hole.
Yeah, he's a nosy little kid. He's just a nosy little neighbor. Man.
I finished my...
mean old bitch.
I can't say I did. Andrea put the finishing touches on our Home Alone Lego house last night. And tonight I start wiring the miniature LED lights.
Oof.
That I ordered from Sweden.
You got your tweezers ready?
Yeah, I do.
Now, does Maisie...
You know how many times I've had a girl say that to me?
Does Maisie watch you do this?
She did the first, we all did, the family project we all did together. Andrea kind of finished it off because she was having fun with it. So rather than steal it from her, because you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, we just let her finish it off. Because I had a Volkswagen Bug that I was working on too, so I finished that one. Maisie would work with her, and then eventually Andrea just finished it off.
Because I find that when I do, putting up Christmas lights, we were messing with the Christmas tree yesterday, my sons, I'll get them out there, be like, all right, we'll put up the Christmas lights, and I get all the bins down, and then I get the knot of lights out, and then the half of them are broken, and then I'm sorting through them, and then they get disinterested, and then I'm like, come on,
let's start playing with a stick. That's what I would do.
Do you have Christmas music playing in the background?
That's what I do. Yeah,
you gotta get in the mood.
Yes, Maisie does play with it, but you're talking about Legos versus putting up lights. Way different, dude. Maisie will help me, and she'll do the Legos. I'll tell her, we put these two there, and she'll do it. But what you're talking about is way different than daddy and daughter playing Legos. You're talking about getting them outside to put up lights, which my dad would try to do, and I'm not doing that.
Well, with the Legos, too, they only have an attention span of a certain amount of time, and then watching them do anything is excruciating because they can't get the Lego piece in, or it's like when I help them with their homework, Tommy's every single thing he writes down, he starts with backward letter, and then I'm like, it's backwards, and then he's like, oh yeah, and it's I'm like, oh god, it's just like watching them. It's
kind of like putting a piece of masking tape on the front of our door to remind you that I changed the code.
It's but it's them too, and I'm like, I feel like a lot of people start family projects and then end up finishing them without their kids, because the kids lose interest. That's all.
Christine in our Twitch chat room says something that I think is pretty darn good. She says, but this is all kids, and yet somehow parents get them to focus. It's weird. Yeah, there are times when Maisie doesn't want to focus at all doing the Lego thing, but she's pretty good. If it's like something that she wants to do, like she'll dedicate herself to it.
Yeah.
You know, like she'll like stay with it. But you're right. Like if it's something she's definitely not into, you just see her start floating away. You know what I mean?
I'm just asking to see if like you basically took over the whole Lego project and then Maisie lost interest in that.
Like, did you basically build that by yourself?
No. But the tail end, we talked about it because Andrea was like enjoying it, and I'm like, well, you just finish it off. You know, and I think you're right. I think at that point, Maisie's just like, yeah, I'm done with it. I did it for 5 days, 4 days. We've been working on it for a very long time. Yeah. You know, she did it at least 5 to 6 times. And she's just kind of like, I think I'm over it now.
Yeah.
But yes, you're correct. It ended up becoming like Andrea's thing. But you know what I'm real big on now? She's doing like a project. And she asked me yesterday, she's like, I'm doing a project for school. I'm like, all right. She's like, I need some help. She's like, we need to do a sloppy copy. I'm like, what's a sloppy copy? I don't know what that means. And then I figured out
I know what that is.
Through talking to
you
her.
Sit on the copy machine. I've seen the videos.
My God.
And then you make your secretary sit on the copy machine, and then you see the black and white.
The copy is. Yeah.
No, it's not that.
No, it's not. That made me uncomfortable, and that's hard to do. No, it's actually a rough draft. That's what kids call a rough draft.
Yeah, I called it that.
I've never heard sloppy copy. I've like so. She was like, we got to do a poster about water safety. I'm like, all right. And she's like, safety. How do you spell safety? And I'm like, well, sound it out. She put S-A-F and then the letter T. And I'm like, perfect. Safety.
I like that.
Yeah, and then she's like, S, swim. And then she's doing like a, like, what do you call that? Like a, like...
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So she's doing that
Put
thing.
a word for every letter.
But then I realized in the middle of it, like, her and Andrea were, like, talking about it, and I realized, I turned to Andrea, I go, you can't be giving her the words. You can't, like, if she's doing a safety poster and the letter S stands for something, you can't, she's like, give me something. No, you can't do that. I said, you gotta, because we finally cleared up her spelling, and she just settled on safe, S-A-F-E. And then we got to E, and she couldn't think of a word that would allude to water safety for E. And then Andrea's like, environmental. I'm like, no, you can't tell her that. You go, you can't. Then you become that parent where you're doing everything for them and you're teaching them nothing.
That's going to be Tom.
But you can you can't give them the word. You can't. You got to let them. So she went to school, and she did not like it, but she went to school without a word for the letter E.
Oh my God, you're a monster.
But what I did is I said, you got to bring that up because she's working in a group. I said, you got to throw it to the group and see if they got something for it.
Right.
She's like, I can't think of anything. And then
the rest of the group, I had their parents do it for them like I would.
True.
Well, Andrea's the worst too.
So they're like, Maisie didn't think of anything, and then we did, even though they're lying, their parents told them.
No, but you can't do that. Like Andrea she kept saying, like, what was the other one she thought of? It was like an E word for like water safety. It was like,
Elevated water.
No, it was alert, not alert.
Emergency.
Emergency came up, but it's a longer word that Maisie does not know.
Electrolytes.
That's a great. See, where were you? But see, I would yell at you too. I'd be like, you can't tell her that. She's like, well, why not? I go, because she doesn't know what that word means. All you're doing is you're solving the problem, but you're cheating.
I need to talk to Maisie
and tell her. I hate being the heavy in the house.
Listen, when everybody's doing performance-enhancing drugs, it's
you
your
might as well
duty.
too.
Yeah, you have to do it to compete. And so
you think I'm being a bit of like curmudgeon-y fuddy dad?
I'm just saying you're sending out Maisie to the race when everybody else has performance-enhancing drugs, and you're just like, that's not right, don't do it, and she's gonna lose the race.
B. Schleyer, I think, got it. It was environmental. I think that was but I'm like, she doesn't even know what the environment is. She doesn't know that word. She's heard it before. She can say it, but if I ask her what's the environment, she's not going to have a concept of that.
Yeah.
Listen,
most kids are doing, or parents are doing their kids' homework, and that's just
that did not happen when I was a kid.
But you would,
I mean, in my household, it happened in other people's households.
Not doing it for them, and some parents do that. But I'm saying, like,
tell them the answers.
Just tell them the answers when they can't figure it out, and So.
Well, I figure now it's like, now would be the time. It's not like they're going to get into trouble.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, you don't have an answer. I mean, like.
Yeah. I mean, it's just...
Plus, if they don't formulate their own answer, then you're going to be giving them the answer your entire life, which actually makes it harder for you because you do more work for your entire life. Like, I don't want to be telling her, like, I'll be 105 years old. She's like, I need a word for the letter S. I'm like, I got nothing. How about the letter D? How about death for the letter D? Death.
Or she'll resent you for the rest of her life because she's like, all the other parents gave their kids the answer except for my parents, and I'm gonna.
They taught me to be lazy.
I'm gonna get them good while they're sleeping. Anyway. It was fun.
Let's get
all this stuff doesn't matter. Like I look at it all and just like you'll never remember it. It doesn't matter. Is it like you got the things or you're whatever? It's all luck how it's
just
turn
the
out.
process, right? It's just the process of having to do work, and then she's understanding responsibility through that. Let's try this one.
Hey, gang, it's Canadian Josh. I'm just calling in with a quick hot take. And Dan, if it's just you that listens to this, that's fine. I just had to let somebody know. The episode of A Corporate Time when you were talking to the guy from Gabriella Plants and Tom tried to say photosynthesis. As a lifelong Tom and Dan listener, 1095 BDM, literally Tom trying to say that word, and then Dan, you going into your Carl Lewis bit was literally probably top 3 the hardest I've ever laughed in the history of your show. This is why I listen. Keep doing what you do. Take all my money. I really appreciate you guys. There's been shitty things going on at work and home, and you guys get me through the day with stuff like that. Dan, the Carl Lewis bit, please never let that go. I'll hang up and listen. Love you guys. BDM for life.
Are you going to cry, bro?
No, you're just saying that because he was mean to you about photosynthesis.
Oh, yeah. Why, am I a clown to you?
Joe Pesci. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. The Fisher here. And we're doing it, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Brand new merch on tomanddan.com. If you want to make an order and it come before Christmas, just make sure to make the order before December 17th. That's
the magical day.
That's the
pretty
cutoff.
Late.
Yeah.
Hats off to Merchman for
he does a great job.
The 17th. That's you can be cutting it real close if you're hitting it on the 17th, but he'll take care of you.
And this co-branded villain stuff, the belt, the bandanas, the tiny Dop Kit makeup bag.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. The new hat.
I want all that stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna be out this week,
Yeah.
and BDMs will know first. And if you're on our texting service,
you'll get
the
a text about
will come out as soon as it drops.
How do you join? How do you join the texting service, Tom?
You just text BDM to our show number. And then it'll text you back. Do you want to join? And then you just say yes or whatever. I think once you text BDM, it auto joins you.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah.
You're locked in there for life. You'll never be able to get out.
You can get out. You could say
you can opt
stop or something.
Yeah, you can opt out.
It's we're still paying for it. I know not that many people
expensive.
use it.
It's expensive.
So,
yeah. Every time we shoot the text gun, it's like $1,000. It's like bam, $1,000, bam, $1,000.
All right, we haven't done this bit in 2 weeks.
I know.
Which I want to talk to EJ about that.
Like,
the chat is very upset.
I have that feeling like I'm getting on the plane going home from vacation right now. You know that feeling where you're like, they got drinks. They got drinks. I'll make the best of it. I'm gonna get loaded and fight with my wife.
Yeah. Still vacation.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Nerds. Yeah. Nerds. Yeah. Nerds.
Jock, nerd, jock, nerd.
Yeah.
It's Nerd Jock with EJ. How you doing, EJ?
Pretty good.
So let me explain why the listeners paying for you not to do your bit for 2 weeks is the most insulting thing I've ever heard. Okay,
that's fine. I'll send my $EJ Crafton is my Cash App. Send me money, and I won't do it.
All right, you heard that. Every $50, you said $50.
$50
you won't do it
a week, yeah.
Here's why it's the most insulting thing I've ever heard, and why it's more insulting than what we've ever done for you.
That's
fine.
I still don't understand
I'm
it.
not against money.
Like,
I'd rather have money than do my
I still
bit.
don't understand it. It still doesn't seem real to me. It seems very odd that people would pay to not hear him, and now here he is. Like, what happened? Why is he here?
See, when me and Daniel make fun of you, we make fun of your looks, and that you can't help. Like, what when
I can help. I'm trying to lose weight. I rode my bike last night and played some basketball.
Yeah,
I can shave my beard down.
Am I trying to run a marathon just by sitting here? I mean, like, what's the definition of trying?
Let's just say you can't help it, right?
Yeah.
So you were born that way, so it's
Lady
like
Gaga.
Us making fun of the way you look and your beard and all this stuff is shouldn't be that insulting because you're like, how can I fix it? You know, there's no way to fix it.
Now,
it is what it is.
Today you do look like. Now follow me with
Here it comes.
This is not that insulting.
Okay.
You're gonna like today's.
All right.
Because normally you come in here and I always go, today you look like. Today is a good one.
Okay.
On brand holiday. He looks like college Santa Claus. Right? Hold on, let me put him on the full screen. College Santa Claus.
You
right?
do look like a young co-ed Santa Claus.
You like young Santa Claus.
Yeah. Or Colombian Santa Claus. There's that
or
one.
Yukon Cornelius. A little bit of that.
So, but our listeners paying you to not do your bit is the most insulting thing because they're saying that it's your general. They don't like what you do.
Well,
the way
I
you
thought it was a
sound.
joke.
I always thought they were on board just to be mean to me just at the same time because they can't do it directly, but this is their way they can do it directly.
Oh, so it's like
They want to be with you guys. They want to be like joiners, and that's what it is.
No, I think they actually don't like your
Oh, I was trying to find the nicest way of saying it.
Well, like, no, I'm just thinking because we've never had this happen before.
I know.
Normally they do play with us. Normally they're like, hey, I got a joke for you. Or like, hey, insult EJ with this. They've never gone to our boss. They're like going above our heads at this point. And they're saying, like, right? It's like I need a manager.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I
Yeah.
thought you were joking with EJ. Come on, young Santa Claus. Come on, jump on. And they're like, no.
I thought you liked the compliments.
Yeah, and they're like, no. And then they're going.
What?
It's not one step further. It's two steps further because first they got to get our manager, which is money. We're managed by money, only manager of our lives.
Yeah.
And then they go, and then they actually execute. They give their
organization,
own money.
yeah.
They're like, here it is. And then, like, I guess the third part of that is that I'm still not believing that it's their real money. Like, I'm like, oh, come on, all right, the joke's up. And they're like, no, this is not a joke. Here is $50, which could have provided me a really high-end lunch. It's about the only thing I can think of right now. But one person
They paid for my tags.
you can go
for
to
my car and my wife's car.
Sure, yeah, but you could go. I'm talking to you. Want to splurge a little bit? You could go to like Houston's or Hillstone or one of those fancy lunch places, and you could get like an amazing lunch with a couple of beers and a dessert for $50.
It's like getting a paid suspension if you're a cop, right?
Yeah,
so it's like
yeah.
I
That never
accidentally
happens,
discharged
by the
my
way.
gun.
That never happens. Cops are all, like,
It's like-
forever gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. It's you're still getting paid, but it's like
Administrative leave.
it makes you feel like oh man, like
Oh, I didn't have to do the research for the bit, and I got paid. Okay.
but it's a slap on the wrist, and it's.
Are you alluding to EJ being drunk with power and mowing down
And being monetized and not having to do anything,
Is he mowing down our fine listeners with his inaccuracies?
Let's start, AJ. What do we got first?
well, what do you want to start with?
No, that's
nerd
not. Okay, hold on. This is like my
I
daughter.
always like to
Hold on,
ask.
stop. This is like when my daughter looks at me and she's like, I'm bored. And I'm going to go play with all your toys. Which toy should I play with? I'm not playing this game. I'm not. You should come in here knowing which story you want to lead with. That's part of being a
Yeah,
journalist.
this is your segment.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
You
right.
gotta run it.
Thank you. I needed a mommy voice here.
We'll
Thank
start
you,
with
sir.
nerd stuff. Then,
Oh,
okay.
God.
You're pissed off. Owen. God.
Hey, I'll check my phone if I get an update that I got money. I'll stop right now.
Why you don't start with sport? Me like sport more than TV.
Well, there's lots of stuff to talk on sports. That's why I'm back end loading it.
All right.
What do you guys want for Christmas this year? Because I want the Tetris waffle maker. Have you seen this?
Oh my God! I can think of 1,000 things I want more than a Tetris world peace. My wife to actually listen to the things that I say. My daughter to actually listen to the things that I say. My coworkers to actually listen to the things that I say.
Huh?
I want a sword, a remote
Yes.
control boat.
I want a remote controlled
A
sword.
sword.
I want a remote
Sword, you
controlled
go to a
sword.
flea market and get that easily.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what I want. That wasn't the question of how to get it. It's what I want.
I want a globe that you open, and I've been saying this for months. I
Oh,
want a
with a
globe that
decanter
you
in
open
there?
inside of it's
Oh.
a decanter and some glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, I want the ball that you shake and it hovers and you throw it.
Yes!
the hover blinky ball.
Yes.
I want that.
Hover
The little
blinky
drone.
ball. I want that Russell Wilson Nerf football that apparently you can throw to other cities. Have you seen
Oh
that?
yeah.
I want one of those.
The one that looks like a missile. Yeah.
I want an Osmo for my iPad Mini. so I can do educational games.
I want that new what is it called? What brand? The egg, the Tanga egg, but it's a bigger.
Oh yeah, Big Tanga. You want Big Tanga?
You want Big Tanga?
You don't want an auto. I don't know if I could say the other.
I
word.
want a Big Tanga egg, and I want a Big Frida CD. That's what I want. Yeah, I want a little New Orleans bounce with my masturbation.
So where's this going?
Well, have you seen it? Where it's basically at the front of the thing, you could play Tetris on the front of it, and it makes Tetris pieces of waffle.
Okay, you didn't reset that you were talking about the waffle iron. You just called it the thing, which doesn't really help our audience
you
much.
could play Tetris, which is kind of stupid. I don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Well, it's dirty. We got a virus out there, and you want everybody to touch your waffle pieces and play Tetris with you? That's disgusting.
But do you have to? Does it make like a set? Like all the pieces.
It makes the L shape, the straight line, the
Okay.
block.
The only way
and
I'd
the
buy
T-shape.
it is
The V?
if when you set
Yeah.
it down and then the light turned green to let you know it's cooking the waffle. You know, everybody knows it goes, and it clicks off when your waffle's done.
Mm-hmm.
Only reason I'd buy it is if it went ding 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 ding.
Yeah, okay,
ding
yeah.
ding 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 ding.
Does someone have to like buy the rights, or like get? Like,
Should we
does, like-
support that game? Is that's a commie game, right? That's a Russian game.
It's from Russia, yeah.
Yeah, should we support that?
Well, at one point, Nintendo had Tetris, right? So they bought the rights.
But it
to
used
Tetris.
to have the dude's name in front of it, right? Like the original Tetris, it had like Vladimir's Tetris. I think I want to say that originally it had like a dude's name in front of it, kind of like
Alexei.
all the Steak and Shakes
Igor.
have Bulgari are in front of them. Like all the Steak and Shakes, you look at it, it's like Steak and Shake, and then underneath it in cursive, it's like by Bulgari, and I'm like, what is that?
It's like Miller's Ale House.
I don't like that. I don't. What are you hiding? What are you hiding?
Ruth's Chris.
I don't like that. I don't like what's it? Alexei's.
Alexei Pajanov.
No, yeah, I'm not trusting that guy. Probably invented the Kalashnikov AK-47.
Is Tetris old enough where it's like the brand is now free use or something like like
Creative
like a
Commons,
Band-Aid
it's
or
been
something like that?
No, dude,
No, it still has a trademark.
Okay, so
No.
someone had to pay
Yes,
to be able
to license it, yeah.
license this.
Why
Okay.
are we okay with the gaming, the little, like, it's like virtual Legos, right? Why are we okay with this Russian guy and his game? But for the most part, aren't we supposed to be like, Putin's the enemy and it's bad stuff, but we just turn the... it's cool if he makes a fun game.
It was that's so 2 years ago.
Okay. All right, I'm just trying to guess where we're at.
The Russian thing, we're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
ah,
Not a
right.
big deal. All right.
Yeah,
They're our
let's,
friends.
Yeah, I mean, not that they no. He just said, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Big Jay Cutler, don't care.
That's fine. But so you, for Christmas, you want a Tetris waffle maker.
Yeah.
What does
They're
it
probably
cost?
hard
They're
to
like
find.
$45. It's not too bad.
Ooh,
Expensive,
That's
yeah.
expensive for a waffle maker, right?
Now,
Yeah, for a waffle maker, no.
I would argue that why not get a waffle maker that's going to be best served to make you delicious waffles instead of making novelty waffles, because I think the novelty of the Tetris waffle will wear off, and you're going to wish that you had like a Waring or like a Viking brand.
Well, it just depends on what the waffle mix you get is what matters. Like, you can get the good stuff.
Well, you should be making it from scratch, right?
Yeah,
Waffle
yeah.
in a box is no go.
and then you just pour it in the thing, and it makes the waffle shapes. Is all it does.
I'm anti this prize.
This,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I love you, but I'm anti it.
That's fine.
This
it
is-
just was something fun to look at. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
This
I
is-
could play Tetris on my breakfast plate.
prime 40-year-old fat guy gift, right?
Oh, why you gotta-
I'm just, I'm saying, right?
It was my
mean.
birthday on
It's-
Sunday. I'm 41 now. Thanks a lot.
Because it's
Congratulations, happy
Thanks.
birthday.
Because no
Thanks.
kid, no young kid, like my
No, I
sons
haven't-
don't even know Tetris. They don't even think that's
No.
cool. Or
May
never
doesn't
even
know
heard
what
of it.
Tetris is.
So this is for nostalgia for your 40-year-old fat guy that wants to make their waffles like Tetris. 40-year-old fat guy nerd. I'll say.
Samantha, do you have a novelty waffle iron?
I don't have any waffle iron.
You got a waffle iron?
No.
You got a waffle iron?
Yeah.
Okay, I do too.
I do. Yeah.
You got a novelty waffle iron or
No,
a standard
just a
issue?
plain black.
Yeah,
Just
I got like
do it.
standard army
Yeah.
issue. Mine was a wedding gift, and it's a Waring. It's the one that flips over like you find at an omelet
Yeah.
station.
Is it the one where it turns also?
Yes, it
I love
turns.
those. Yeah.
It wasn't that expensive.
I have
would
the one
say-
that just you close it.
It was
It's-
like
it's basically
$60,
built
but
for
my dad had the flat waffle iron, which is the one that I still think is the best one.
Yeah.
Kind of like the style that you would find at Waffle House, where the waffles are about the size of a dinner plate. Like, I am anti-Belgian waffles, and I have a Belgian waffle maker. That's all I have. If the person listening, it might have been Scott York that got me the waffle iron. It gets used all the time. Like, it's probably one of my most used appliances, but I am not a Belgian waffle maker guy. I'm not into Belgian waffles. I don't like a small, high waffle. I like a flat, wide waffle.
It is a pain in the ass to clean, right?
Yeah,
if you don't clean it right away, you're screwed.
It also
He is right.
Yeah.
Man, you got to get to that thing while it's still got those
still hot.
Those crispy bits are still
And
warm.
make it easy to just
And
pull
then
off with a little bit of water.
You pick them off with like
Yeah.
a little, like I
A
usually
fork.
like a plastic fork that
Yeah.
you got from Wendy's
Yeah, yeah.
or something. I use that, but it's a pain in the ass.
It's got two strikes against it. One is the weight, because for some reason it weighs 12 and a half pounds. Like, so it's too heavy and hard to clean, and therefore
I
is
have
off
something
my
that's too
appliance
heavy and
list.
hard to clean, but you know.
What else you got, AJ?
Okay, I know you guys like the original one, but have you seen the new trailer for the Into the Spider-Verse? But it's called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. The new trailer
did.
just came out this
I
week.
watched that for you.
Thank you.
And I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to yuck on this young. They got, after watching and reading more about this Spider-Man, and this is right.
Yeah.
All of this
Miles
is right.
Morales, and they're going to put
The
Oscar
story's
Oscar
great.
Isaac
Yep.
is Spidey 2099.
And they're going to weave it all in.
And the chick that's playing Hawkeye 2, Kate Bishop, on the series is the one that does the voice for Spider-Gwen on the show.
Is this obviously animated?
Yes.
And is it?
It looks like the same style of animation that they did for the last one.
Is it a sequel or what is it?
It's a sequel, but it seems like they're going to do multiple parts to this, possibly.
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe that. It almost seems to me like a book of stories.
Yeah.
That's what I want to call
Well,
it.
my sons loved Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
They watch it multiple times.
I think they'll love this.
Yeah.
So
I think you're going to be the hero.
they'll be happy
if you
My
bring
daughter
this
loves
home.
Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, you'll be the man.
For whatever reason, I don't know what, because like Into the Spider-Verse was considered like a very good movie.
Dude, it got rated so high by people
Yeah,
that I
Rotten
know.
Tomatoes is
Yeah.
like 98%.
Older people I know that just wandered into it accidentally have said that's just amazing.
Is it
They
just?
loved it.
Is it like a mixture of the plot's decent and the music? Like I know Post Malone's whole song was in.
I
so
think
it's like,
it was kind of a vibe, right? Like the whole thing was just
Yeah.
really well put together. I am hoping the same for.
I'm hoping so, yeah.
For I guess 2 or the
The
continuation.
continuation of the story.
But
yeah.
the first one's pretty much one of the best Marvel things I've seen.
Yeah, and it was done by
Animated,
Sony,
yeah.
so it's like they still were working
right.
the deal between
You're
Marvel
right.
and Sony, and this is like, yo, we could still do a Spider-Man movie that's really good, and that's what they were always afraid of, that Sony couldn't do a good Spider-Man story.
when does it come out?
Oh man, I think it's
be a
next
minute.
year.
October of next year.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
You got a
here.
while.
Yeah.
Well, why'd you tell me? I'm like, I was excited. I
The
was like,
trailer came
And the
out.
trailer came out.
Yeah,
today,
show them the
that's why.
trailer, get them excited for it, and then go opening day. Have you ever done that?
I bought my tickets for the new Spider-Man for the 17th.
A lot of my friends
Yeah.
have.
Go where? Into my living room?
I know.
That's the
I'm
only
with
place
you.
I'm ever watching movie
I know.
again.
No.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
But man, I do feel a little jealous of all my friends. You and most anybody.
I'm going to the IMAX at Point Orlando.
You and I are such weirdos because everyone else I know is got like tickets to see this thing, and you and I are both the guys that are just like, meh.
I have to go because I need to focus on the movie. If not, I'll be on my phone. I'll be on the iPad. I'll have to
Okay.
chase after the kids. When I go to the theater, it's focused. That's what I'm there for. That's it.
I changed the audio in my bedroom for no reason other than the Alexa that we had in there died, right? So I wanted to change it, and then the Apple HomePod Minis were on sale. Mm-hmm. So I was able to snag one with a gift card, and then I bought an extra one because you can put them in a stereo pair.
Okay.
In the room for like surround sound or spatial audio. So I put that in my bedroom, and now when I'm watching movies, I'm kind of like more like Tom. We've been watching movies in the bedroom, but with like really good sound.
Wow.
Like immersive sound. And now I kind of feel like I don't need to go. You know, like I'm becoming more of a movie person because of the audio. Imagine that.
I can see that, yeah.
Increase the audio, and I like movies more.
For me, it's just a pain in the ass of leaving my house, and I don't appreciate the experience of a movie enough for me to, leave the house and go
Which
to
is
the movie
weird too,
theater
because
or-
it really isn't a test to you not caring, because I would have pegged you before pandemic as a movie guy, because you and your wife would go to the movies.
Yeah, we would.
That was just so they could smoke cigarettes at the Enzio.
But we never. But me and
But that
Andrea
was when
are,
there wasn't an option to watch it at home. It was like out of the movies, and we wanted to see it, and we couldn't see it at home for 6 months or whatever the hell it came out.
I don't want to
demand.
see anything bad enough to go to a building to see it.
But if I have now, if it's like some movie we want to see, I'll go to the movie theater and see it. If we're going back to that whole thing, but I have a feeling that we'll probably have the option to watch it at home, like maybe a week after it gets released or something. They're gonna come to
where are we at on that now? Because it's like
it depends on the film and the studio that's releasing it. Like, I know Disney, like Shang-Chi is supposed to come on Disney Plus in like the next couple weeks. So it just came out in theaters a little while ago.
Yeah,
and it's almost out again. So it just depends on the studio. Like HBO Max is releasing like same day as the theaters. Like I can't remember what was the one they just released that you could watch it at the theater and here. But for me, comedies and stuff like that, I'd rather watch at home. But like big tentpole movies like Into the Spider-Verse or Spider-Man or Endgame or something like that, I want to go to the theater because I'm going to be focused. I'm going to watch it.
I think you found where I agree. If it's an epic movie,
big screen. I want to see it on the IMAX. I want to be overwhelmed by it. I don't want to be I can watch it on my iPad and
now, but because it can now we can have both, right? Like I watched that 8-bit Christmas.
Yes.
But I watched
That's the one I was going to tell you
But
about.
I watched
That's what
it again in my bedroom with the good sound, right? And that happens to have like decent music and stuff. And it really was a lot more fun watching it there because, it's I think you're right. I think comedies at home in my bedroom just chilling out. And then if I want to watch Iron Man fly again, then I got to go to the movie theater.
With my TV and sound setup now, it's comparable to a movie theater.
I totally disagree.
I got 70-inch TV and a nice ass Sony.
The IMAX at Port
soundbar.
Orlando's 3 stories tall.
Well, that's an IMAX.
Well, I'm just saying,
like a regular Winter Park Regal.
Now,
I'm just
Twisted.
saying, it's comparable if I can do it for free, or at least the food and beverage or whatever the hell I want. Push pause to go pee, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Twisted Movies in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. You can join us every single day. I'm enjoying your snark today. This particular person agrees with me of anti kind of Marvel stuff and says that superheroes are the best on the couch so I can fall asleep. That's good. I like that. Okay, get them.
Next story. EJ.
Okay, the next one, last one for nerd. Do you guys watch The Boys on Amazon Prime? They're going to do a animated anthology series called Diabolical.
But it's all new stuff.
And it's all new stuff, and they're getting different creators. Like Seth Rogen's going to do one.
It's going to be good.
There's a bunch of people
they're
that are doing
spreading it
them.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what they did with Star Wars, where they did the Visions, and they did different things, and different, like they did Samurai Jack type stuff on Star Wars. They're going to do that with The Boys.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think whenever they take stuff like that and they spread it out to other creative people, I think you get a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, it's like when you heard that, who was it? God, the guy that did Pulp Fiction. I'm blanking. Quentin Tarantino was going to do a Star Trek movie. And I was excited to hear. Also, he was going to do a Star Wars movie. But they never got a chance to do it, which I would have loved to seen his take on that property.
It is interesting to see different directors take over projects that they normally don't do. They have their style into something that normally wouldn't have that style. I'm mad that it's animated. Again, because I don't necessarily like watching animated stuff.
Yeah.
But you didn't watch Invincible, did you?
No.
Or did you?
No.
Okay, Invincible is kind of like The Boys animated. But they can go that extra mile on the animation and all that stuff. And I think that's what they're going to do with The Boys. They can go to that extra mile, and it's not going to cost them millions of dollars to produce a special effects.
Have we heard anything about Invincible 2?
Yeah,
or second season?
The second season is guaranteed, but they didn't. I think it's next year again.
I got
Everything's
into
next
that.
year.
I got so into that. That last episode of that,
oh my God,
that'll rock you to the core, dude.
Yeah.
That is a good. I had a guy write me, and he was kind of mad that I didn't preface. He's like, "You like that show?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, but it can be a rough watch."
They were saying that Invincible was the reason why Eternals didn't do as good in the theaters because it kind of. I don't want to give anything away with the spoilers or anything like that. So
yeah, I could see that
because the storylines are kind of similar. Sure. I'll just say that.
Should we jump over to sports?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do
okay.
it.
Well, we got to talk about the Miami thing because that just happened. Miami fired Manny Diaz and they hired Mario Cristobal. And Mario Cristobal was our graduate assistant when I was at Miami.
So what is
You were
that?
pretty excited about that, right?
I'm excited about it, but at the same time, I don't like the way they handled it because it kind of like left Manny Diaz in the lurch for 2 weeks, not knowing what was going to happen.
So I've heard a lot about like the college football. People have been talking about it in the stuff I listen to, and with a couple of huge coach hirings and basically I think we're all realizing that college football this entire time, which is ridiculous that we're not, and I guess we've all
really is it a big reveal?
Yeah.
This is a giant business.
It's a money-making scheme.
Multi-billion-dollar business that is so huge, and the entertainment aspect of it, the television rights and all stuff is so gigantic, especially nowadays when everything is so separated that, you still got a huge mass of people watching college football and NFL and stuff. Like sports have become like the one thing that everybody's watching together in a world that everybody's watching whatever they're into. But so with all these huge signings and like people talking about how they're handling different firings and hirings.
Oh yeah, and the deals they're getting, like the USC coach, they bought his houses in Oklahoma. He had two houses, and they were
both for
$500 million over. Yeah,
$500,000 over asking, and then bought him the house
with that
$500
million.
Sorry,
Get yourself out of here.
That was a slip of the tongue.
But had you not been here,
you're
the good parent.
I'm saving them.
You're the good parent because I heard that. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna let you burn. If you go to jail, I'm not bailing you out, son. I'm not bailing you. I'm raising adults. I'm not raising children. Michelle Obama.
It's showing everybody like
village.
This is a gigantic business, and that's all that matters. They're running it like a corporation, and it's cutthroat, and this has nothing to do with the education of anybody.
No.
This has all to do with...
All these places are supposed to be not-for-profits, too, which is the funniest thing about that.
This has everything to do with having a good football team and the advertising rights of the television rights and all that stuff. It's like the advertising money with college football, so gigantic.
Where are we at on the championship now? Because it's all
the
many
playoffs
upsets.
just started, because the Cotton Bowl is on New Year's Eve.
Okay,
and it's Alabama versus Cincinnati. And then you got the Orange Bowl, which is Georgia and Michigan.
What are our rankings now? Because it started getting all crazy, and then everybody was getting upset, and then I got too busy.
Well, I know Alabama beat Georgia, and
that was just
freaking
crazy.
out about that.
Yeah. If Georgia wins that, they're the number 1 seed, and they pretty much lock it in. But now they had to blow it at the last second. Yeah. But they're still in the playoffs, so.
And now with the playoff system, it's supposed to be more fair.
Yeah.
Although people still have to.
I like how you said that.
Wow.
No, with the playoff system, it's supposed to be more fair. You said it like.
He doesn't like those. He wants the good old boy network again.
I saw your polo beef up a little bit. That was cool.
Although everybody now is arguing just who's getting in the playoffs because they have to still
vote on that. Cincinnati's not a Power 5 conference.
Argue about.
Yeah. So,
they're saying Cincinnati didn't play a hard schedule enough. Like the SEC is a harder division than whatever the Cincinnati's in.
I'm impressed when someone knows a lot about like college football and the NFL and stuff like that. It's like, man, how do you have the time to know about all this stuff? Because just to know about like the NFL, I have to listen to 5 hours of podcasts a week.
It's the team thing that blows my mind. I got a buddy that does some stuff with like he's a super fan for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he knows all the players on Atlanta Falcons, which I absolutely do not. I don't have time for that. He knows the practice squad, all those guys. He knows the guys that can get called up, and he knows Georgia football, UGA. He knows the university.
Oh, yeah.
All those guys, where they go. The defensive coordinators, the offensive coordinators, those guys. Oh, yeah, he popped up. He's a coach now. I knew that. I'm like, how do you do that?
If you're a fan, you can probably put that all together.
I mean, I guess Andrea's mom can do it with baseball. Like, she's like, yeah, that man, or he was there. He's been there like 40 years. I'm like, what? How do you know all this?
Yeah.
Well, it's easier than ever because you could have someone present the information to you in a tight package into a podcast because every sports team has their own podcast now and has fan podcasts about them, and they're good and they're well produced and they have accurate information. So now more than ever, it's easier to know all the information or get it presented to you. Like 20 years ago, like this is stuff where you'd have to like read beat reporters locally and like deep dive into the club, and like it was you had to do some research. Now it's like you listen to like top 5 college podcasts or whatever the hell. I mean,
or you could go on their Wikipedia page and just read it right there, and it'll tell you everything you need to know.
All the current players and who's in line to be the next QB and stuff, like all the stats. It's just
it's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Tom, have you put a bet for the Heisman yet?
I don't know about college enough.
But I'm just saying, if you are, put all your money on.
Do it for him.
Put it on Bryce Young. He's gonna win it. It's automatic. Like even if it's like put $100 down to win 10, you're gonna win the $10.
Please do it and it not happen.
Well, if we do that, then we got to do a bigger.
It's Alabama's quarterback. Because they beat Georgia, that basically sealed the Heisman for him, I think.
Well, I got a bone to pick with Alabama's quarterbacks going into the NFL because everybody was like, "Oh, Tua," you know.
Well, look at how Mac Jones is doing pretty good.
I was going to bring him up. Mac Jones
last night he only threw 3 passes, but they still won the
game. Out of the entire core, right, coming in, Mac Jones is performing the best.
Yeah.
Out of the 3,
so
they don't play in Philadelphia, but he's hurt, so.
Now, does that guarantee Bryce Young gets into the NFL? Like, there's been other
Heisman does not guarantee you get in the NFL or get drafted. Well, look
Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward. Yeah, that was the thing
that was the
one.
That was a big life lesson for me as a child, or as a young man, let's say.
Yeah.
So you got a guy, right? And then you, like, as a kid, and I'm gonna mess this up, but I'm gonna mess it up like the way that I thought. So, like, you got Charlie Ward wins a Heisman, and I'm like, oh, wow, he's the best at football. As a kid, you think that. You're like, wow, this guy's the best at football. He's obviously going to go on to be an NFL superstar. But then I find out somewhere, because I'm not really connected to it, that he's also playing basketball
for FSU.
And I'm like, oh, my God, this guy's obviously he can pick and choose what he wants to do. And he won the Heisman, he plays basketball. I was like, well, obviously this guy's going to be in sports and be like, he's got to be like a Michael Jordan.
He's like Bo Jackson, yeah. He
right?
can play 2 sports.
Is he any different than a Michael Jordan? But no, he's not. This guy's amazing. And then he disappears.
He played for the Knicks for a little while.
For a little while for the Knicks, but I'm just saying, like, it's funny to think that if you really look at that guy on paper in the beginning of his career,
time. That was
he's
the problem.
good at everything, right? And a smart guy, a nice guy seemingly.
He was Michael Vick before Michael Vick was Michael Vick. He was that guy that could play, he could run, he could throw, and it was just ahead of his time. Everyone wanted a drop-back passer in the NFL.
And Michael Vick is so weird because Michael Vick knew the limitations of his body. Like, he spent the first 6 seasons he played with Atlanta, and then when he finally is landing in Philadelphia, he's like, I think I'll just try the pocket for a little while.
Yeah.
And then he's just standing back
there.
Well,
he had a stud for an arm, and he was left-handed, too.
But he also was a mobile quarterback. Like, the first 6 seasons we had him, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then the doctor. That's not good.
Also during a time where you could annihilate a quarterback if you started running, no matter what. It's like,
that was the other story I was going to bring up. Did you watch the Wake Forest Pitt game where the guy fakes a slide and then scores a touchdown?
I did see that.
Which is ridiculous. Like, okay, now they're going to have to write a new rule saying you can't fake a slide. If you're going to go slide, you got to slide, or we're going to have targeting penalties against you.
Or as soon as you start the slide, that's where you're down, right? It's like, where that is the rule. Like, it's wherever you start the slide, it's not where you slide to, it's where you start. Yeah. So you can't fake a slide. But it's smart to do.
It was a smart. It was you're bending the rules to your advanage because you got to do that.
Defensive backs or the safeties, they held up as soon as he started, and then he ran past them. It was like you're taking advantage of the rules, which like Belichick does. Which I like. Speaking of protecting the quarterback, I saw the most egregious roughing the passer penalty I've ever seen.
When you go like this to the helmet like that?
No, not even the slap the helmet. Like that is like, all right, like you better not miss when you try to slap the ball or you hit the helmet, it's a penalty, and we all kind of know that. This was a push out of bounds that was... So Josh Allen was running, right? He runs. He's going for the first down. Like, you know the move where you're running out of bounds, but you put the football in front of you.
It's the ball pass it forward.
Yeah, to try to get the extra yard or whatever. So he's doing that, and he's jumping in the air and putting the football forward. And I don't know who did it from New England, but just pushed him out of bounds, right? In the air, because he wants to push him out of bounds so he doesn't get the first down. Like, it's he didn't annihilate him or land on him on the ground out of bounds, or like he was already out of bounds and he pushed him.
Yeah.
Like
if you're in the air, you're not out of bounds yet until you touch.
He was in the air, still in bounds, and the guy just pushed him and then let up. Did the move where it pushed him? Put his hands up, whatever. Passing or roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty.
It's not roughing the passer if he's a runner. At that point, it's unnecessary roughness. If
unnecessary roughness,
yeah.
Whenever it is, 15-yard penalty and automatic first down. You're short of the first down, by the way, if they didn't call that.
Oh yeah, they get the automatic. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like a lot of people now. New England wins the game and stuff, but they lose the game, or like I'm sure a lot of people in the NFL watch that and be like, that's a problem. Like, that can't happen. You know, the referees.
They have a lot of problems with the taunting. And
they should.
It's just, some of that stuff is just, it really does make me not like the game.
Well,
it
makes it easy to fix games, it looks like, if that's a scenario.
Well,
like, you were talking about that earlier today.
Where you're taking the most important, arguably one of, if not the most important player on the team and making him invincible to any...
Well, he's the biggest thing that keeps the game going, because look at these backup quarterbacks. Most of the time, they're not any good.
Yeah. No, and the NFL was right. If we look back and be like, all right, the NFL was right protecting the quarterback. It made the game more entertaining for all of us because we want the star quarterbacks in the game. It doesn't make any sense to have every star quarterback injured and then it's like, all right, like this is more entertaining, right? And but it's gone too far when the guy's jumping out of bounds, he just gets pushed and stuff. Like it's got to swing back the other way.
But then you're dealing with humans, and
they should just make it where because they do this where they'll review like a call in New York or whatever. There's like a
like the one that rubbed his helmet. Like it was
they
a
always
punt
they're always sending plays to New York.
And so it's like if that happens and on the field the referee thought that maybe Josh Allen was out of bounds and New England was egregious when he pushed him or like went too far or whatever, just go back and look and be like, hey, that's a no call. Pick up the flag and be like, all right, it's not. I made a mistake.
Supposedly they are, but they're just not making the necessary change to do it. I also think that they don't want to take away the ability for refs that are on the field during the game. If everything's being reviewed in New York, then why the hell are they even there? It's like,
well, they're there to, like, they can make their own call and they can talk to New York and be like, this is what I saw in person. But New York ultimately has HD video of like, well, this is what really happened. So overturn it, because
but they don't.
That would be fair because it's like, this was not a penalty. We could see it in the replay.
But how many of the ones that we've seen this year, let's take just roughing the passer and taunting.
Yeah.
None of them have been reversed. I mean, none of them. They've all been seen in New York.
If you flex your arm, that's a taunt. I'm like, are you serious?
Well, the one that I saw too was the guy where you just pointed over at him. I'm like, well, that does nothing.
If you're pointing at the person, that's disrespectful.
I think that should be allowed. In soccer, you score a goal past the goalkeeper. I mean, you give him the double glance. It's like, gotcha,
buddy. You can have a celebration when you score a touchdown or like get an interception.
I think you should be able to chop your crotch and make it look like stuff's coming at him. I think you do the whole 9 yards.
They're trying to clean it up, man.
Yeah, because I've seen fights just for a point. That's the reason why I understand why they're
taunting
doing the whole
is fine,
pointing thing.
fighting is not. You just make that rule. You can taunt as much as you want, just no fighting.
Yeah, and I hear the argument of like, man, these players, like it's a super rough game and everybody's super passionate about it, and so it's hard for a lot of the players to not do that because they're excited or whatever. Take it personally.
It would be impossible for me to. If I could dunk on somebody, every time I would dunk, I would get in that person's face and yell and scream.
Like you're essentially, if you're a defensive back, you're essentially fighting the wide receiver the entire game.
Yeah,
like,
the whole game.
Like talking to him, fighting, like
when there's running plays, right? He's blocking you.
Well, they have to allow you the ability to do your job like a receiver gets to score, and then he can do a celebration, right? I should be able to do a celebration if I put you on your back.
Now, I don't know this to be true.
That's only fair.
But if you go back and you look at like how New England runs their organization, like you don't see a lot of New England's players do that.
No, they're dispassionate usually when they play the game.
But they also they've been coached up.
Belichick robots.
Yeah.
He's got his own robot.
Now they will kill people off the field, but on the field, on the field,
programming them tight.
They don't make those mistakes, and so it's like
I would say that was more Urban Meyer than Belichick at that point.
Yeah, you're right. But still, I'm like,
the Jesus robot and the murder robot.
Urban's pretty good at it.
Belichick is coaching this out of his players, so it can be done. So it kind of takes the argument away where these players are too passionate to be able to stop from being like, doing some of the taunting.
Isn't it sort of like if you were a carpenter and you were teaching a bunch of other carpenters, you would have a certain amount of golden rules that you would drill into them so they wouldn't get stupid penalties, right?
Yeah.
For instance,
Yeah.
cut twice or measure twice, cut once, right?
Yeah.
If you drilled that into them, Belichick style, like we try to do with our kids, it's no different than parenting, right? You're trying to get them in, like, don't taunt, don't do that. That's a stupid penalty.
Yeah, pretend like you've been in the end zone before when you score a touchdown.
Yeah, just that's a stupid, and then you keep drilling it. Like, there is something to be said about, you automatically go into the game with an advantage because you know how to keep your cool.
Yeah. No, and
that's a good skill to have, man.
Well, that's what you got to do. Like, a lot of that stuff is Belichick's telling him, "Hey, don't jump off sides. You're going to sit on the bench. I'm going to cut you."
I don't know how that would happen. Though. I don't think I could do that within football, the crowd, everything. You mean to tell me I scored a touchdown and I'm supposed to just like solemnly go back?
Well,
and
I love
LaDainian
Thomason.
I would rip my clothes off.
You're allowed to celebrate. It's just they're
freaking out.
They want to take away the aggressive. I'm going to fight you, or look what I did. The
Stand
machismo
over you after I blocked you into the ground.
It's just a marketing thing. Like
I like the standover one.
Yeah,
I like it too.
I like the standover.
They want to take away the bullying. I'm
a little person, right? I'm not a little person, but I'm a smaller man. I like the one where you have the bigger like DT standing over somebody and the guy. I like that.
Yeah.
See, I've always liked LaDainian Tomlinson. Every time he scored a touchdown, he just hand the ball to the referee and just go to the sideline.
There's one that I've only seen. I'm a Falcons guy, but there's one that I've seen Calvin Ridley do. And not that you would see him do much of it this year.
Yeah.
But that's not a shot, by the way.
Nah.
Handle your business, sir. But in the end zone, if he scored,
he pulls his talipram out. He starts
no, but it's a version of that. Like he'll score and he'll just stand there, like a statue.
Oh, the old statue.
Yeah, I like the statue where you scored and you're just kind of like.
See, I like
standing there, and people like have people marvel at you, like you've been carved out of like marble.
Doing the David in the end zone.
Yeah, I kind of like the statue where you just kind of stand there. Whatever you do when you cross the line, you just freeze.
I like the football. You shove it forward, first down, and then you flip the ball.
Oh, that's a good one.
Shove forward,
That's
first
a
down.
good one.
Hey.
I'm a spin.
All right, Santana Moss. I was about to bring that one.
like
That's
the
my
spin,
favorite. Where it spins on the ground like a dreidel.
Okay, there's a bunch I like, and they do a lot of them in Madden. One of the ones that's new that I like is when you run across the line and then you hold the football out and then you go like
a beer,
like you popped it and you drink. Or like the one where you all line up, all the fat guys get together, and you all act like you're on a crew
rowboat.
team. Yeah, rowboat.
I like when the small white slot receiver tries to slam dunk the ball through the.
And then he has to do a finger roll instead.
Then he has to do a layup. And then it's like, it's not cool if you did a layup. I could throw it.
Well, you're not allowed to grab the goalpost anymore.
I know.
I'm more of an Isaiah Thomas. And
Tony Gonzalez and Jimmy Graham were that. Yeah,
they bent the goalpost sideways. They're like, oh no! Anyway,
but last night's game was fun to watch because of the wind.
Yeah,
it was just fun. Did you see outside the stadium where it was knocking over all the porta potties?
No.
Dude, and they called it an actual S storm because it was knocking over the porta potties everywhere.
The wind in those games, it does make it more fun for a true football fan.
Oh, all they did is run the ball.
Makes it more if you're a kiteman.
Because you're now for everybody else that likes the entertainment of football, horrible game to watch.
Oh, if you like Patrick Mahomes sling it down the field all day long, no, you hate this game.
Because in a dome, like it turns more into arena football, where it's like you have two good quarterbacks and you just score crazy.
Yeah.
This game is a game like strategy, and you can only throw when the wind's to your back.
Yeah, you can't even punt. The guy who hit a 15-yard punt with the wind going right at him.
He couldn't make it. I was on New England last night. Betting wise, New England +3. I had them in the teaser plus 8.5. So I was rooting for New England.
Sure.
And then the Bills go to kick a field goal, and they're on the 30-yard line, but they're kicking into the wind. And then I'm like, man, I'm like, it's still a 30-yard field goal is nothing to these guys. So can they
chip shot?
But the wind, I don't know what 10 degrees of wind means to. I wouldn't know how to do the equation on that.
Have you ever been outside and tried to throw a football into the wind? It's like a nice breeze going.
Sometimes you go to like a theme park and you get a big gust over like water.
Yeah.
And you're walking, you're like, damn, this is crazy.
These were 50-mile-an-hour gusts and stuff. So, they go to kick it and, no good off the run. He couldn't, nothing could do it.
It was like hitting a wall of air and just shooting to the right.
That's crazy. Although, who is the Steelers kicker? This is sports related. He's got a great name. His name is like Preston Hardwick III.
Chris Boswell.
No. The guy that he's a newer guy and he's a punter. He's not a kicker. He's a punter.
See, I'm not going to even try
for the Steelers.
I know I'm going to get this wrong.
And he had the punt of a lifetime. They showed it in the highlight clips on Red Zone, and it was cool because he landed it right on the one.
Oh yeah, the one that went out of bounds.
Presley Harvin III.
Presley Harvin III. He's awesome.
Sounds like a punter to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Black guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My white guy.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Last story.
We got to get out of here, buddy.
Okay, you go fast.
Nah, I don't have anything. I was just gonna, because we kind of went into the NFL.
No.
I'm calling it right now. I know I said it with Joey, but I think there's going to be a New England Bucks Super Bowl.
Okay.
You think so?
That'd be fun.
Look at the teams. Look at how they're playing. Hard to make an argument that they both couldn't make the Super Bowl.
They
also, the entertainment aspect is on their side.
It'd be great.
So I'm kind of leaning towards I don't know. I know they're not influencing any games, but I'm just saying that would be very good for the NFL.
But the NFC is hard. You still got Arizona and Green Bay. They're both good. And think about Green Bay having all the issues with Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of the season and him making the Super Bowl after all that stuff.
Tampa has a harder road to get there. And
for
it looks
sure.
like New England can get there a lot easier. But still, all I'm saying is that would be an entertaining Super Bowl. There's
Brady's just
insane
killing it
storylines.
lately. What's he, 4 touchdowns a game?
He's just slinging it all
Yeah,
day.
he's killing it.
Plus, he has good receivers. It makes it easy. As long as they have their COVID cards
Everything
right.
he seems to go for, he gets it. Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
He'll be back for the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
I know.
Yeah,
it's like Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry's healthy, I like the Titans. If he's ready for the playoffs.
Running backs don't matter that much.
Oh, Derrick Henry does. He was the lead rusher for the NFL even for 3 weeks after he was injured.
You're too emotional.
I saw the memes. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha is here. Are we officially in the holiday spirit here?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, kind of, right? We all have Christmas lights up. Well, Sam doesn't. Do you have your lights up?
Oh, well, I don't have on the outside, no.
But you have
everything
all
decorated on the inside.
Yeah, that's all
on the inside.
That's all that matters. It's all Christmas on the inside, Sam. That's what my dad used to say.
Yeah.
I know our guest is laughing. You want to say, is he laughing? Are you laughing?
Yeah, I guess you have to have kids and that sort of thing to have lights. I have my Halloween lights up still.
Well, that's just trashy.
Yeah.
And you live in a rich neighborhood. I'm sure your neighbors are like, oh, God, why do you have to beat Kimbo?
Not on the outside, on my back patio. It's just purple lighting, and I like the purple lighting, so I left the purple lights because it looks cool.
I do like you know what? I'm going to go with Seth and agree and say that I, too, like Halloween lights. I've been converted. Normally, I would make fun of Halloween lights, but I saw some of my neighbors had this purple and the orange lights, and I really like them. I thought they looked great.
We're going to get to a time where
everything's got lights.
Well, they're going to be the standard is you're going to have some LED strip installed into your roof line and around your windows or whatever, and you could just...
I'm anti-LEDs, though. I'm incandescent only.
Well, what I'm saying is that you can, on your cell phone, just change the lighting to your house, whatever color you want to celebrate, whatever.
I already kind of have that with my Christmas tree and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like your Christmas tree. It's it's up all... By the way, we were going to talk about that on Friday. About you leaving your Christmas tree up all year long. That's insane. Yeah. That's what an insane person does.
I mean, no, traditionally it's what Karens do. And you guys know I'm not a Karen. But I'm going to steal. I'm taking that back for me. I'm going to put that tree up year round. I'm going to change it for, I guess, first of the year, January. I don't know what January is yet, but I'll figure something out and I'll load it up with different orange. Yeah, I guess I could do this is my new beginning tree. Come to the tree, take a wish off of it, read it, and try to implement that in your gratitude journal.
Well, doesn't it take away the whole putting up the Christmas tree for the holidays and do now
it empowers it. It makes it stronger. It strengthens it.
But if it's all year long, there's nothing special about Christmas anymore.
There's nothing special about Christmas right now.
No, there is.
My parents are dead.
I don't know what that has to do with it. Let's do some weird.
There you go. Okay, weird job it is. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Streamline Florida. If you want a refi or a mortgage, talk to Brian Zymo and his team. They will hook you up and they'll let you know over the phone if it's smart for you to refi. Or maybe take some money out of your house, take some equity out, to pay off some credit cards. There's maybe some better business decisions you could do with your house. So just give them a call and find out. That's the easiest thing.
That's what I did,
it's easy. They'll do all the work. And
you do very little. Phone call, email, maybe.
And then next thing you know, you don't have to pay your mortgage for 2 months, and you took some equity out, paid off some bills, and now your monthly nut is way less, and your house did the work, right? Because most likely your house has equity. Anyway.
The term nut.
I don't like it.
I mean, you use it for a lot of things. Squirrels use it. Porn stars use it. It's a thing. It's a thing. Also, someone in our chat room is being very disrespectful to me in doubting the fact that I do use incandescent light bulbs in my Christmas lights. I still like a tiny electric flame in my lights. That's what I like.
Oh, yeah. He's got the hot. Molten hot.
I have the hottest bulbs in town.
So, obviously, we've had some cancellations for Weird Job.
But he's on the list. He's on the emergency call list.
Yeah. You know how, remember, like, when Jay Leno used to have, like, I know with Jimmy Kimmel, he did this a lot with Adam Carolla, where he had some big guests cancel, some real celebrities, and then you have to get Adam Carolla at the last minute because, he's got nothing to do. That's similar to what we have here for today's Weird Job.
I've been teaching my Weird Job, jerk.
Teaching.
I mean,
Sam and I were having this discussion, and I want to come to a class just so I can see, and I just want to observe. I don't want to kick and punch. My legs are too small. My legs are too small to do any of that. I just want to see how you run the class.
Seth takes it seriously.
Don't take this as disrespect, Seth. I don't mean any by this, but it is hard for me to envision you because I like to cut up with you. I like to joke with you. It's funny. It's very difficult for me to see you in a scenario where you're running the class and commanding like a teacher and like a compassionate teaching sensei. Because I know he does take it seriously. In fact, the only thing that I know that Seth fully takes seriously 100%, and I'm going to try to say it right, is karate.
Yeah.
That, I swear to God, is the only thing I know he's all in on.
Nothing else.
Well, karate and, martial arts in general, like the gym, jiu-jitsu, karate, wrestling, all that stuff, yes.
Yeah. Over your friendships, your relationship,
your family,
everything.
Kicking over everything.
Yeah, and then it is a lot. It is a lot different. So, like if you would ever go into a class or bring your kid in for a class or something like that, you would notice that it's night and day of how I am with you guys and how I am in the class.
Yeah.
First thing I'm going to say when I'm up here is no blammers, bro. This is a blammer-free zone.
So.
Oh no! I blame the whole time. I just don't say anything, and I do what I hear.
So you're still you. You just don't draw attention to it. Okay.
So today's Weird Job is going to be the job of Sensei. Because
that is a weird job.
That is. I mean,
it's also cultural appropriation.
I think it is.
I mean.
Yeah. Can a good old American Joe be a sensei?
Am I suddenly a Rastaman? Like, is that the way it works now? If I just take a couple classes, dance all-American reggae class?
It's a title given to you. Like, you don't give it to yourself. You have to be. It's rude for you to call yourself a sensei.
Did you see how he repositioned the phone because he takes it seriously? If he could jump through that receiver and grab our necks, he would. I could hear it. I could hear it.
I just finished my food, so now I can put the phone by my face.
So, Seth, let's start from the beginning of being a sensei. Is there any type of accreditation that you say only other people can call you sensei?
Is it like the Santa Claus school we watched a video on today? There's a Santa Claus school you could go to, and you could, for $585, you can learn how to be Santa Claus.
Yeah. Is there any schooling?
Okay, No. Okay, look, anybody can call themselves a doctor, but then when you look into it, you have to have a legitimate accreditation from some sort of university or whatever like that to have that doctor title. So same thing with sensei. Anyone can call themselves a sensei, and we can open a dojo and say, "Hey, I'm Sensei Steve." But when you look into the actual sensei, you find out where they got their diploma from like what institution they got it from, blah 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 blah, and all that sort of stuff. What kai or what federation you received your sensei title from, I guess you could say.
This burned hot, but it would have been funny back when What Does the Fox Say was running hot. You could have done What Does the Sensei and had all your little kids jump around you, whipping their belts around, and really whip up a kid froth of new kickers for your program. Because you need new kickers, right?
Of course I always need new kickers, but I got tons. We got from that last little thing I did at the Orlando Convention Center. I got like 6 or 7 signed up, which is awesome. So I have a completely full kit. Like I got like 25, 30 kids running around crazy in the class right now that I have to like yell at to start class. So I have a lot of kids now, which is nice.
Calm down, you blammer!
Now, when you say accreditation,
oh no, they do knuckle push-ups if they're bad.
Oh my god!
From
goddamn torture school.
Yeah, knuckle push-ups. Those are
no,
hard.
it's called discipline, which a lot of people lack nowadays with their kids. So,
He's not wrong. He's not.
in the sensei world, like when you're talking about being accredited for being a sensei, like
Angie's List is what you're looking for.
well, in like let's say higher education world, like you got your Everests of the world. You got your DeVry, your Everest, and then you got your UCF and FSU, UF, and then above that you're talking about Princeton, Harvard, and is there a spectrum of accreditation where basically I'm asking, is there the Everest of sensei accreditation? And is there a Harvard?
You see, my accreditation is the Brown of karate. You see, it's from Japan. Like my accreditation's from Japan. Like I have a actual diploma sent from the International Shito-Do Federation from Japan. That kind of gives me my rank.
The International Doo-Doo Federation. Hold on a second.
Doo-Doo, goddammit.
It's doo-doo.
I believe that is what Parliament Funkadelic. Remember they had a record called Invasion of the Doo-Doo Chasers, and it's all like psychedelic funk. So you have a diploma from the International Doo-Doo Federation.
I knew this would just be a whole bit just to make fun of my crap, man. I hate you guys.
Hey,
no, it's not. I said you plugged your thing.
One of us has a doo-doo plaque. One of us doesn't.
No, we're not making fun of anything. We're just asking you some questions.
The name of my style, it's spelled Shito, which pronounced Shito. But it's spelled...
Wait a minute. Your form that you teach at your dojo, which is your passion project, just happens to be named SHITO.
RYU.
It's very, I'm just going to say, that'll make some people want to believe in God when they hear things like that.
So, let's talk about the business of a dojo. So, let's say I want to start... Tom
All-American Kickin' Dojo.
yeah. Tom's All-American Kickin' Dojo. And I go online, I get, just like Daniel did when he became a priest.
One of the things that you have that nobody else has. Tom Van's All-American Kickin' Dojo, where you just eat your peanuts and put the shells on the floor. It's just like Roadhouse. And the first rule of Tom
we have barrels of peanuts.
Barrels of peanuts. Get those kids proteined up. Get some good fat in them. Get some protein. Get some carb.
You throw them right on the floor.
And nuts are calorically dense, and the shells will actually strengthen their feet.
So I go online and then I find out Sensei accreditation, so I can, I buy that for $25.
No, you can't just buy. That's the thing. You can't just buy that.
And you can
buy anything.
A strip mall Mexican restaurant. El Porto's going out of business, so you move right in there. You and your wife and your 2 sons get to painting, and you're like, we're going to turn this place into a show place.
Yeah. We have a glass.
I mean, you might be able to trick the normal dullards that sign up and don't do any sort of research into what they're signing up for. But anybody that knows martial arts and they sign up at your place, like, okay, I want to see his style and where he got his
I don't know anyone other than you that knows martial arts.
Every parent I know that has a kid in karate
it's just for a babysitter.
They slip and accidentally call it babysitter.
Yeah, like when my dad would go to buy me Mortal Kombat, he'd go to Babbage's, he'd be like, "All right, you got a copy of the minor combat?" And they're like, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Whatever, I'll buy it."
Well, that's why when anyone signs up, I automatically send them an entire, probably like 30 pages worth of history and lineage
Oh my
and
God.
where I got.
Is it just
I'm thorough, and I want them to know. I want them to know what they're getting is legit and it's real. So I'm very thorough
put it
on.
right in the
everyone
Hold
that
on,
does
I'm going to help you out because if it's just photocopies, that's what every chiropractor gives me when I leave. They give me a photocopy of some stretches I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
They're like, hey,
No, it's
everybody who's listening to me right now has done this. The chiropractor hands you the sheet, or the doctor, normally it's a chiropractor. They're like, do these stretches. And you're like, oh, thanks for the handouts. And then they're horrible. They've been photocopied a million times. The whole page is black. I'm like, how much ink did you use on this? If you'd update your copy, you wouldn't be burning through toner. And then you take those, and yes, you either leave them in your car forever until Mr. Car Wash pulls them out and throws them away, or you throw them away yourself.
So I open up my dojo and I start. I get the
You get a prize wheel.
I get the wacky inflatable arm tube man out front, and he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, waving around.
But his eyes are different.
So my whole goal
Why'd you do that?
is to just get as many kids to sign up as possible, and then it's you sign up for X amount of classes. So it's like, all right, and you give them like, kind of like how I do sales. You give them 3 options.
Yeah.
And they take
And
the
all you
middle.
got to do, I've seen these classes, all you got to do is make them run in a circle for an hour.
And then
Oh, that's not.
and then they all pay per month. It's all about monthly subscription services, right? Or it's like,
Yes.
is that the business? Like,
Well, yeah. But as far as the membership goes, it's like a car. It's a certain price for the year. The more you put down on that price, the less it's going to be every month that you pay. But you also get a discount the more you put down. So if you put a certain amount down, say you put $199 down instead of $99 down, you're going to get a 5% discount throughout the year.
all right.
5%. Might as well not even have a discount.
I'm just giving an example. I'm just giving an example.
I am not a fan of a single-digit discount.
My
I'm not.
God.
If I go anywhere, they're like, you got a 2% discount. I'm like,
cents.
2%? At least give me in the 10.
Right.
So Seth, and then after like that, like people pay for the courses. Like how you get them in there to stick with you is you start, because I seen this with who's the guy that he was playing volleyball.
Jeffrey Epstein.
No.
Oh my God.
He was kind of like that, but
Karch Karai.
he had a cult, and it was
the
all
Nexium cult.
Nexium
Oh,
cult.
yeah.
It was all based around you get a different sash with a
Yeah,
different
yeah.
color, and that's kind of like
Keith
the
Raniere.
Keith Raniere.
How did we forget that guy's name?
The belt
Oh, it's been a
system.
long year.
It's kind of like Scientology, where it's always about
This
getting
is Kickentology.
to getting to the next level,
Yeah.
and then it's like, all right, you go from white belt to white belt, but 1 yellow stripe, then 3
Yeah.
yellow stripes, then 3
And
yellow.
once you
belts.
become a black belt, then I get in there with my cauterizing gun and I write my name on your uterus.
And so it's then it's the people chasing that next belt, which keeps them in the
It's
program,
like
right?
unlocking video game achievements, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
That's how, yeah, and then
except the video game achievements is like you get like a special music.
but then
and
once you get the black belt, is there anywhere to go from there?
Black Plus.
Yeah, black belt. Like, okay, when you say black belt, the Japanese term for black belt is shodan. Show means first. Dan is rank. So
Show your
essentially,
Shodong.
Dan, D-A-N, Dan. And then, so essentially, when you get your shodan, that just means beginning. Like you're just starting.
D-A-N is Dan.
So they're Dan. A's are in Japanese. So anyway, when you reach your first Dan, it means the first level, meaning that you start at your black belt. There's 10 black belts, and rarely anyone ever gets to your 10th degree before you're dead. So I mean, it's for 1 through 10, and then you test whatever you're going for. Say if you're going for your second Dan, you have to wait 2 years. If you're going for your third Dan, you have to wait 3 years. Fourth, fifth, sixth, you have to wait 5, 6, 7 years before you test again. So normally that rarely happens. When you see people that are young, like 40s and 50s, and they say they're like 8th, 9th Dan, it's bullcrap, because they're just giving themselves belts like whenever they want. So the true people are when they're
How
a
high is
lot
your
older.
dong?
Very
Yeah.
rare.
What kind of dong you
What's
running? Sam wants to know what kind of dong you're running.
Well, it depends. I was a 4th Dan, but now I'm a 3rd Dan now. In this,
Lost a couple centimeters on your
How
dong.
I did it because I kind of started over.
I honestly do respect the fact that you make the craft harder for yourself in order to learn. all jokes aside, I like making jokes with you because you can take it. But like, I'm serious. I like the fact that you're not a belt farm, and I like the fact that you actually are like that you like the craft. It's kind of like I give Tom crap about his gambling and betting, but I also know that he enjoys the aspect of trying to get better at it, and I know you do that for karate too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not a belt factory, and there are belt factories out there, but most people test every 2 to 3 months. I wait for 4 months, but I don't let everyone test every single time. Like, you have to have the correct attendance, you have to show the correct progression, and all that stuff. And I push everybody hard, so I mean, it's not like I'm just giving them away. They bust their butt.
That's good, man. I think that's good because you're actually going to learn.
In other let's talk about kids for a second. Like in other youth sports, every once in a while you'll see some it'll be like a young Derrick Henry, and he's in Pop Warner football, and he just.
I love seeing those videos of kids.
Trucking
they have them now because video cameras and phones have been around enough. But you can see kids right before in middle school, high school, receivers, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, he had it!"
Yeah. Like Julio Jones in his high school, and like grainy. Actually, there's HD video of Julio, but it's like you'll see child prodigies in sports, and they'll just be better than everybody. Do you ever run across that in karate where all of a sudden a kid will come and all of a sudden just be
unbelievable
head and
balance,
shoulders above everybody else, stronger than everybody, and just picks it up faster?
Oh yeah, like natural athletes. Yeah, I have 1 or 2 now, but trust me, it's a nice and really to get those kids because usually it's kind of the opposite, which is great because it's a challenge, and I love to see the progression that kids that are very unathletic and are very sheltered and quiet and shy and cry and scream because they don't want to get on the mat, and then 3-4 months later they're totally 180'd, and it's a totally different person out there, which is really cool to see. I like that, but I love getting the natural athletes in there. I have 2 of them right now that just come and are going to be amazing and they love karate too, so they're going to be definitely competing, and they're going to be badasses for
That's
sure.
the best part of what you teach to kids, though, is I don't even think it has to do with karate. And I say the same thing about May taking the dance classes that she does.
Yeah.
I just like the discipline, and I like the fact that she's being kind of held to a standard by somebody other than her parents. I know that sounds kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
But in the world you are. In the world you have a boss, or in the world you have to integrate yourself with other people. So,
dude, if your child was in Seth's dojo, there's nothing bad that will come from that.
That's good stuff.
And only good. Like seriously, you'll only learn to be better.
So when you're bringing your boys there, Tom?
Well, that's because I'm lazy. My boys are soft. It's a horrible combination.
Well, they just hanging out with each other, and they're not into anything, and I kind of like that. Now that
they
I'm
can
hearing
do the class together,
but
right?
now that I'm hearing it, no, they're doing their rock climbing, dreaming.
They're not doing nothing.
No,
yeah, they are. They're
that's lazy. Back to me being lazy.
Why don't you take them to the dojo then?
So lazy.
Drop them off at the dojo. Let Seth.
No,
watch them.
I want Tom to do his you could do some All-American kicking.
I've got a really inside business question for you, Seth. Just because I know about business insurance and stuff, is your insurance astronomical because you're dealing with something? Because I know, when we bought insurance for the time we had the wrestling event at our 90s party, 9-year anniversary, the fact that we were doing exhibition wrestling, the insurance was freaked out about that. It was.
Is that why? Did you pay a lot for that? Is that why you didn't pay me?
Possibly. It was very expensive.
I did not pay for it and just crossed my fingers no one got hurt or paralyzed.
Oh my God.
And I was like, well, how much could they actually take?
Well, that's why. Did you notice I was having everybody sign a waiver? That was really just so I could give them a talk down of keep it together.
Don't land on your neck.
Yeah, come on, whatever you do.
So, because I imagine the regular insurance company is going to look at a karate dojo and be like, all right, there's people in there doing moves and flipping each other or doing what I'm saying, they could possibly get hurt, and it's 2 kids are practicing some moves and one of them breaks his arm by accident. I mean, that's more likely to happen
Break his arm.
than if you're teaching people chess or what. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to pay
No,
a bunch.
Considering what we're doing, the insurance really isn't that bad. Even at the jungle, it's bad, but it's not really bad. It depends on how many students you have, and they ask questions like, well, when they do spar, are they wearing headgear? And of course, we're wearing headgear at all times. Yeah, So it's just stuff like that kind of helps it out. So
is a lot of that stuff kind of like common sense because, like you're saying, like of course they're wearing headgear. Yeah, they're children. Of course they're wearing headgear. We're not here to injure anybody. We're here to learn the sport. I mean, but then out of pocket, what's your biggest expense for the business? Is it all of the different equipment that you need, the padding and I would say is it the flooring?
Oh, yeah. Well, the startup was the floor 100% because I did most dojos, and I don't know one around here that has the floor that I have.
Have you seen his floor? You haven't seen it. Like, it bounces. Like, he had me jump up and down on it, and it literally has it's almost like a wrestling
gym mat,
almost like a wrestling ring. No, it's wood, right? It's wood.
No, it's wood. It's traditional. Well, the middle part is traditional wood, so I can take the padding off and have a traditional Japanese dojo floor if I want to. But it's just safer to have the padding over it like I have it. But under the wood is 1 inch thick heater hose, like for your car. It's heater hose, so it's really thick rubber. And there's, like 1,000 square feet of it, more than 1,000 square feet of it, all laid out under the floor. So it gives the whole floor like a little bit of a bounce.
Yeah, it gives it like a...
So it gives, so it doesn't hurt so much when you land
on
it?
It's cool. It's super solid, but it's very much like a wrestling ring where there's just enough give to it where you can still execute everything perfectly and then not injure yourself if you do hit the wood. It's neat.
Yeah, it's just so much better on your joints, and it's more for longevity. We're training for longevity. We want to get better and be able to do it for a while. And, especially with adults doing it on a hardwood floor with no give, it's going to kill your knees and your ankles after a while. So this definitely helps that for sure. But that was the biggest expense doing all that. Yes.
Seth.
Besides that, then advertising and marketing.
When I used to work out at the jungle, I was there one time and some guy offered me, he's like, hey, do you want
some GHB, bro?
And this guy, he's like, hey, do you want to spar with me? And I was like, all right. And then he's like, do you want a gi? Because we're doing some jujitsu. And then I was like, yeah, I'll take one. So he gave me his spare gi, and I put it on, and it was so heavy and hot. I was like, wow, why is this so thick?
Yeah, it's like why are you guys fighting wearing a big Paddington Bear overcoat?
It's like the gi was so thick. I was like, did they make a thinner gi?
I like
something
a silk
more
gi.
It was something more silky, or like made out of the material that Villain makes their board shorts out of.
Terry gi.
Like nice. Some Egyptian cotton.
How about can I get 128 thread count gi? I don't want this rough ass.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you're talking about. For jiu-jitsu, no, you have to have a really thick, heavy gi because you're pulling on it, yanking on it, twisting it.
Yeah, but I don't want people yanking on my gi. That's not fighting. That's gi yanking.
That's jiu-jitsu. But our karate, we have two different types of gis. You have a kata gi, which is our form gi, and then you have a kumite gi, which is our fighting gi. So our fighting gi is just like that. Like the silkier, smooth, lighter, the better, because you can move fast and it's light and you can move around. So we have gis like that, which I have a few of those. And then kata gi is a little bit thicker, and it's made to create a little bit of snap to it. So that way when you execute your moves, it sounds nice and snappy.
How about a sag gi, which is my wife's ass? How about that? Put that down for the award show, Sam. Calling that shot like Babe Ruth. I'm trying to win this year.
So, Seth, with, how much
you thought the gi question was going to be bigger, didn't you?
No. How much on average do you think it would cost the average person to go from white belt to black belt through, let's say, like, not even yours, I'm not even saying, like, but
Belt Farm?
Like, what's the general cost in the United States for that? Like, if you
what's the biggest chain? Is there a massive chain like a Walmart of
karate
schools? You don't have to say its name. You don't have to say the name, but there is a thing.
Yes, there is. There's like three main ones here in Central Florida area for
There's
sure.
one called Extreme Kicks.
Yeah,
and it's XTR.
Yes.
I don't want to name the ones that are the I call them McDojos.
Everybody does. Yeah, all my karate guys. And you know what's funny is that a lot of my karate guys are like jiu-jitsu guys in that they've secretly been doing it for years, but you don't hear them talk about it.
Yeah,
but they do it.
So, Seth, have you ever had a problem where, because I think I would land in this category.
Who beat up all the dads?
No, where you have to, do your karate barefoot, right? And then I have an extreme foot odor problem, especially.
God.
Well, I'm saying if
I thought you got rid of that.
No,
I haven't
you
smelled
never
He
get
just rubs deodorant on the
I
body.
haven't smelled anything in a long time. Is that because of the deodorant?
Well,
That's because you
You're
had COVID.
getting used to it.
I know I got like 15 pairs of sandals, so when one gets wet, I have to let it dry out for a while. So I just pick
haven't
it dry
smelled it.
out.
I think you've been doing good.
I just bought an insane amount of sandals, so that way that I don't have to wear the wet ones or ones because that's what causes the extreme odor. So I would say I work out at Seth's dojo. I accidentally wear the wrong pair of sandals, and then next thing you know, I have to kick them off. I get on the, do my kicks.
What if your feet get wet? Do they start activating?
Oh, yeah. Then the sweat starts going. Then I start stinking the whole room up like I did at my trainer one time, and the old man was coughing.
He still talks about it.
And he says,
Hey, that old man. Seth, I apologize. We're going to tell a story for a second. The old man that started coughing that made fun of you, that's the old man that when I was going in to do my workout, his pants fell down.
No, yeah, he did.
His whole entire pants fell down like King Hippo from It's Sam. His keys and everything were in his pants, and he had on like cotton pants, like what really heavy people wear, like cotton t-shirt shorts.
Yeah.
And they fell down, and then he had on like tiny yellow underwear, like
briefs.
Was this my dad?
But yellow, like nicotine yellow underwear, and you could see everything hanging sadly in his underwear. It was I was like, oh my God, you should be ashamed of yourself, old man.
So have you ever had a student with extreme foot odor that you had to
pull him aside and have a tough talk?
Yeah.
Okay, at karate, no, not yet. But let me two things. One, the thing that I told you I send at the beginning when everyone signs up. There's also a long list of things of it's called dojo etiquette rules, and one of the main things on the dojo etiquette rule is I'll read it to you actually. Please make sure if you aren't feeling well, do not come to class. We work very hard to keep the dojo clean and safe for all students. We don't want anything to spread. Same goes for hygiene. Please make sure nails are kept short and trimmed, and the gi is washed and clean. Please make sure your hair is tied up and out of the way. So we send that to everybody.
Yeah, but
to
you
make
didn't
sure
put B-hole on there. You got to put B-hole on there.
Yeah,
People are stupid.
Wow.
If you don't...
But the second part to that is we had at the jungle, we had plenty of people come in just stinking like pure onions. It was disgusting. It was like
because they don't wash their gi. I used to do that when I was in the high school gym.
But not only that, people were clean. They just stunk when they started rolling. It was disgusting. So we had to tell.
Well, when I'm on ecstasy, I stink too. But it's because all my faculties are relieving themselves.
You had to tell them to.
No, we didn't tell them specifically. So we lined the whole class. What we do, this is what we always do.
You line up somebody's beehole stinks. One of you in here has got a stinky beehole. When I figure out what it is.
We line the whole gym up. When we're bowing out, and we say, "Hey guys, just a reminder. Please make sure that everyone is, saying the etiquette rules. Please make sure you're wearing deodorant. Please make sure the gis are clean, guys. We want to make sure everything's good." So we just make a general announcement if that one person stinks. That way it kind of gets in their head. And if it happens again...
It's like when
you're going to get that kid bullied.
It's like when you single out all the employees, but you know the person that's doing it. You're like, all right, somebody
I'll turn my back.
Yeah.
Whoever stole the $20, put it
on
back.
my desk. Yeah.
I mean, there's times when I roll with my friends and I'm smelling like their armpits sometimes, or their breath. And I'm like, bro, did you brush your teeth before? I'll say that just to my friends, but I won't say it to students that are paying.
I was standing at the holiday parade over the weekend, and the person next to me was a woman. She went to show me her tattoo because apparently, when you have tattoos, everybody with tattoos thinks you want to see their tattoo.
Oh yeah.
And she leaned over and showed me a tattoo on her shoulder. And when she did this and then lifted her arm up, and then I caught the air out of her chicken wing there, and it was straight. I drive BO. It was straight up hot, walking in the sun, shopping.
It was 2 for 10.
It was 2 for 10. I mean, hot. It was the rankest, stankest, and it was bad. I looked at my wife. I'm like, I think I gotta go home. I haven't had full BO in my nose in a very long time. Very long time.
Seth, do you ever have the Karate Kid? I'll call this the Karate Kid, where you have a star student, a pupil, right?
Yeah, but he keeps hanging out with this dumb old man that's promising him a car. Do you know how long? Do you know how many?
You're mixing
times-
Karate Kid with Gran Torino.
No, in Karate Kid he gives him the car too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Gran Torino just stole from
Here's the thing.
Karate Kid.
Here's the thing. If you're a pedophile, you will profile kids you'll get them to come to your house all summer long and do all kinds of stuff to you, and then at the end you will give them a classic car. And you're horrible. And you're a horrible person for doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the kid got a classic car. What did he have
But
to-
what did he have to do to get the car?
You know,
wax on, wax off. So many jokes there.
Yeah. So what I'm mentioning is, have you ever or even thought about this? I know your dojo's still fairly new, but you train your star pupil all the way up to where like you think he's gonna maybe one day start taking over some classes.
You will take over the dojo.
But then he leaves and he starts his own dojo to compete against you. Is that a problem?
But you're too old.
Do you make him sign non-competes or something?
Not for the dojo, not yet. But I will do that once they reach like a black belt level, and if they ever express interest in wanting to teach.
Wait a minute.
I'll have them do it.
Now, what about like? Okay, we have our friend.
But the jungle, FYI, the jungle, that's happened already. And a funny story, actually, this week it just happened where I just found out that they're closing, and one of the instructors that left with them came kind of crawling back to the jungle and asked to train with us again, which I think is great.
Please, I closed down my other dojo, and I'm sorry my beehole stunk.
Did you let him back? I mean, he opened up.
No, the one that opened it didn't come back. The one that went to work for him was also a teacher at ours and left, and he came back. And yeah, we had stipulations for him to come back, but we made him come back.
All right.
A member's a member. Pay
What
members.
are the stipulations?
We'll let you come back, but we gotta put a grape in your beehole. And you gotta walk it. If it falls out, you're eating it.
So, how big can your dojo get? Like,
Whoa, buddy. That's
Like-
a Tracy question.
Like, Seth, is this truly? I know it is a passion project for you, but you're also, you're a businessman and you want your dojo to be successful. You work hard.
But I don't think he wants his dojo to be successful at the cost of actually
The reputation,
or
yeah.
or no, of just respecting. Like I think you can answer this. I think he'd rather be small and respectful to the craft than bigger and have to like cut corners with.
Yeah, belt farming.
Yeah,
and stuff like
or
that.
even just the respect that he does things in a certain way that he likes his.
I don't know. He already went to the spin the wheel. The pretty
Well,
fast.
that's the only I was going to say the only thing that I went with was actually rebreakable boards.
Yeah, but you did say you'd never do that.
Yeah, so that's one thing I went back on.
Yeah, but that was a big one because I remember in here you were like, I'm never going to be one of those places where I let the kids come over, they're just kicking all the boards, kick them everything, and now you'll never get a wheel.
They call that the top of the slope. It is always a starting point.
Yeah.
No, as long as I'm staying true, like Daniel said, as long as I'm staying true to the art, then that's really all I care about with this. If I wasn't doing how I'm doing at the jungle, then this would be a totally different conversation. I would be saying, yeah, I am doing a wheel, I'm doing everything. I'm hiring a clown to come and hand out stuff. Like I'm doing everything.
Karate
but
clown.
no.
Hold on, that's a good idea. You could dress up and start making extra money going to other dojos as the karate clown.
Oh, will you do birthday parties? Like you come to my birthday party.
I'm a clown and I
kid-
know
Your
karate.
your 40th birthday party.
Yeah, I
Seth
would
goes
actually
karate
be a
club.
nunchuck clown.
Yeah.
I would just have nunchucks and I would
Yeah.
do like tricks with nunchucks. with the
Karate clown doesn't just do balloon animals; he kicks the ass out of them.
Yeah.
Like I want you to come to my
kick your
party.
cake.
And then I want you to kick my wife's clothes or
Yeah,
whatever.
kick a pinata. I want you to kick over some pots.
Kick the laundry pile off the piano.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like just
Kick
come.
my dog a few times, wake him up.
Like
If you pay me enough, I'll do anything.
Yeah, I'll throw
I like
a
that.
watermelon up. You put your foot through it. You know.
well,
Then I want you to make love to my wife while I videotape it.
that's called the bull.
Can you do that, karate clown?
I like it when the doors close and then I come into the door and it's happening.
Yeah, it's already happening.
It's like you walk down the hallway with the video camera, and then you open.
It's a fabricated reveal.
yeah. Did you tell them like, hey, I'm gonna leave and then come back
Hey,
like
guys,
10 minutes later?
Go ahead and start. I'm gonna come in like I'm catching you.
Yeah.
It's more exciting for me.
Anyway,
and then you get the scene where it's through the crack first, and then he just opens the door full blown.
back to how big can you get it? Like, how big can this business be? Like, can you have, a dozen different instructors and 500 students?
24 hours a day.
Yeah, like how big do you want to get it?
Locations.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I already have two or three students that expressed interest in being with me for the long haul and wanting to teach eventually one day and have it, because they, fell in love with it and stuff like that, which is really cool. But I mean, right now I have 3 instructors, and I just broke 100 students, which is a huge for like a small dojo. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, that's like that was my goal, is to have like at least 100. So I'm like right about there. So, cool. But no, I would like to have like a 2 or 3 dojos like throughout Central Florida, and have like a sensei at each one, and then me go to each one. But yeah, I think it can get really big.
So you want to tour to each dojo, kind of like Ashley Schaefer BMW, where you show up and then the other like senseis are in charge, but you're like the owner sensei.
Yeah, I'll be like the head sensei.
That's cool. I think that's cool.
Eventually, I could be called a shihan, which is above a sensei. So it's like means So sensei just means instructor, obviously. Teacher, instructor. Shihan means master instructor, master teacher. So
you're like the guy in the black hood in Squid Game that sits on the couch with the rocks glass, watching it all unfold.
With all the big fat Americans who are gambling on these people's lives. So, is there anything bigger than Shihan? And once you get to that point, like how many different senseis can be under you?
Well, there's no limit to how many senseis can be under you, but yeah, there's above a Shihan, there's Renshi, then there's Soke, which is like the founder of a style, but Shihan is kind of that one of the highest.
It sounds a lot like multi-level marketing to me.
So, Seth, speaking of that, the highest rated ninja, for lack of a better term.
I don't think they do it like that.
But in your discipline, I'm guessing is an old man, right?
Yeah, he's Hanshi. Yeah, Julius Theory, Hanshi Julius Caesar. So Hanshi is the highest in our style. Because
Hanshi Julius Caesar. Who is that?
Julius Theory. He's European. He's Hungarian. Oh dang, is he Hungarian? Oh no, he's crap. You know what? I forgot where he's from in Europe.
Well,
Julius Caesar, Hungarian black belt.
So my point is, could you beat him up in a regular? Like if it was a fight to see who taps out, could you beat him?
Oh. He's old, so yeah.
Well, that kind of takes it over. You should be the master.
Why are there
like he should be able to? It should be Game of Thrones style.
Knowledge base in karate, like in jiu-jitsu, I would be his sensei for sure, or his instructor for sure, because he doesn't know much about jiu-jitsu. But in karate, knowledge base, he knows so much more than me.
Well, if we based everything in every martial arts based on just who's the best, and we got rid of respect. The cornerstone of most martial arts, I believe, is rooted in some sort of respect, right? Yeah. If you eliminate all of that and then just make it who's the best at beating each other up, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm saying in everybody that's into your form of martial arts, who's you the strong? Best? Like, are you? If it was just a regular fight, could you beat everybody?
Yes.
You should be the king, then.
You're the king of karate. Whatever your brand of karate is.
Yeah. You should be. You should put
you
that.
You don't have to be the clown. You're the king.
Yeah, You should put that on the front of your glass and shoe polish.
And the first thing you do, and this is if you want to disrupt the space, you go find this guy, and you do exactly what we just said. You want to have more than 100 students. You beat up the guy, and you go, look, I did it. I'm the best. Come to me. Come to my dojo. Look, you take
but the thing is, I could beat them up, so I could teach people how to fight, but I won't be able to teach them the correct kata to do. Like,
well, neither can he, because where's your kata now, Julius Caesar? You got beat up.
Yeah. All right, Seth. Plug your dojo. Where can people sign up? Where is it located? All that.
Okay, well, it's located in the Mills 50 district, so literally right on the corner of Mills and 50 behind the CVS there. It's Karate of Orlando. You can go to karateoforlando.com.
Sam put it in the chat room before you even said it because she cares about you.
Or you can go, Instagram to Karate of Orlando, and it's at Karate of Orlando, which I do, the address and stuff like that's there too if you just want to go to Instagram. But we're doing a special. Well, it's not much. I mean, it's still a special, I guess, because it was a better special last month.
What are you doing? That's bad marketing when it's not really a special.
Well,
what are you doing?
It's free training, but we've had this going for the past 6 weeks. So if you got it earlier, it was more worth it. But I'll throw in some extra goodies. Now, I'll throw in a free, my backpack that I got for the gear bags and stuff like that.
Nice.
I'll throw in a free gear bag and stuff like that. But also free until January 1st, 2022.
Box of
so you
steaks.
don't pay anything until that date. So you get a few more weeks of free training.
All right, awesome. Well, Seth, thanks so much for doing the interview today. And you taught us a lot about senseis.
Yeah, I don't think I taught you anything. But,
I learned.
What'd you learn today, Tom?
I learned that there's 2 other, better senseis called something different above that.
You learned about as much as people driving in the cars right now, right?
Seth's got a cool floor at his dojo.
Yeah, it's bouncy.
Can you just bring your sons in just to watch a class? That's all I want.
They're not into that. And I saw a video
They don't
earlier
have to be
today.
into it. They can just come and watch.
Tommy Van's got the comedy. Tommy Van is the next Chappelle, and he's going for it.
I'll bring him in. We'll talk about it. But I want a private lesson. I don't want to be with everybody else. And I want
you want the gym
private? No, you need to have them watch the other kids and see how much fun they have and how I'm yelling at them and making them do things.
All right, Seth.
All
We'll
right.
see you on Friday.
Yeah, see you Friday.
All right,
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
buddy. Oh, he sounds like he's scared to come in here now.
No, he's good. He's good.
Don't get the funny one in karate. You can't ruin that one. Have you seen you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, he's funny.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.